All right, as board member Aaron takes a seat here, I'll go ahead and call to order the Downtown Development Authority Board meeting. It's Monday, December 8th, 2025 at 12:01 p.m. Looking for a motion for agenda approval from...
May I call
Roll call.
roll call, start. See, I don't have my cheat sheet.
Alan Costello,
Here.
Joe Ayardi,
Here.
Brian Rosen,
Here.
Cole Devitt,
Here.
Arnoldi Burton.
Yes.
Quorum.
All right. It's the four of us today holding it down. Five now. Five. We got five. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda for today? Or are there any additions or deletions?
There are additions, if you don't mind. I think we need to bring up this, the Mac Bernard, the letter regarding the joint legislative auditing committee meeting that's taking place in Tallahassee today.
Do we, anyone want to second
Need to
that?
second that? Then I second it.
All right.
Do it all at once if there's other.
Is there any other items to be added to the agenda? We would add that under new business 4C.
Yeah, and I think the internal audit as well that was done by the city.
That's what I was just gonna
Oh,
ask.
that, okay, well, that's what I
Yeah,
was
so the
referring to.
internal audit and that, I mean,
And that'll be 4D, will be the internal audit.
let's make it 4AA, right after the noise ordinance.
Okay. Okay. Any other changes between 4AA for the audit and 4C for the Senate letter?
Do you want the Senate matter to be right after the internal audit?
Yes, I think they should
4AA?
be.
Kind of go hand in hand.
Right, they go-
4A, okay, 4 AAA. All right.
We need a motion and a second.
I second it.
Aye.
Aye.
That's all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Agenda has been changed. Can I get, do I have to get a motion to approve the agenda now that we've changed it? That was it, everything? Okay, great. Moving on to public comments and partner reports. Do we have any partners in the room? Any public comments? Come on up. 3 minutes. Start the clock, whoever's in charge of that.
Sure, it won't take me but a second. Hi, I'm Mavis. You guys all know me. I just want to extend an invitation to open house, or grand opening rather, that we're having on the Avenue on Friday. Beach Gossip. If you haven't ridden down the Avenue lately to see the property that was Bank United, what they've done to it and how amazing it looks and how welcoming, it's a great beautification to the community. 5 o'clock on Friday, if you all could be there, that would be fabulous. I've also reached out to the mayor and commissioner, so hopefully someone from the city will be represented as well. Just want to quickly go over also, if you haven't really been riding around and haven't noticed all the wonderful shops that are opening up downtown. We recently had Aho, which is a clothier, Jardin de Luminaire, my French is poor, sorry, Ascari, which is a jewelry store, Beach Club, which is a great restaurant from what I'm understanding, and Cellini is opening tonight. Shelley and I had the opportunity to go over last week. It's great. And Big A, remember how you used to have the muffin at the Seagate that you couldn't get out of your mind? The orange cake is the same way. You'll never forget it. You'll never get over it. At Cellini, you can walk across the street and get there quickly.
Where Costa used to be.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
we've got Beach Gossip opening. We've got Cellini that just opened. Well, Beach Gossip is open. Tea and Spice is opening this week also on the 500 block. And also in Pineapple Grove, Pop-Up Bagel is going to be opening. So there's a lot happening. And what I want you to really understand is why. Why are people coming to the downtown? Why are people continuing to invest? You know, why is there a short period of time? If one building is vacant, it doesn't stay vacant for a long time. And it's the work you guys do as a board, what you're approving, and what you're helping direct the DDA that amazing team that you have there and what they do for our downtown to make people constantly want to invest in our downtown is an important message that everybody should be aware of. And thank them and thank you. I do, as a former merchant on the Avenue and as a resident of the downtown, inviting people to come into the downtown and having such diversity and wonderful shops and wonderful restaurants. It's a beautiful story, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Suzanne, are we going to do like a cool bunch of new openings blast from the DDA sometime soon with all the new businesses?
We have been.
All right.
Have you
No, I
you
see.
missed them?
No, I see some of them, but I didn't know.
I
if
mean,
the-
we've done a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you, again, I'm just speaking out loud. We can talk as a board,
Yeah.
but we do like one big one that's just all the businesses that are opening. Like, you know,
Yeah, we did that. We do that about every quarter, where we do like put out a big press release and list
Yeah,
all the
of them,
businesses
right.
that
Yeah,
are just
like-
they're coming.
because it gets like when you put them together, it almost builds up to something more. You know, it's
Yeah.
like that entourage effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I see them in the newsletters, and this is opening that, but it's nice when you just it's
Put it
one
all
dedicated
in
to
one
them.
big thing. Yeah.
Again, I know you have a lot on your plate. I'm not saying, hey, you need to do this now. I'm just saying.
I got it.
Okay. Any other public comment? All right. Continuing on, we are going to do the consent agenda next. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Can we get a roll call? Or all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Going on to new business. I'd like to welcome Attorney Lynn Jellin. All right, come on up. And again, Lynn's going to be bringing us up to speed onto this noise ordinance. I know we've been working on it since I think it was like April 22 or maybe May of or
It's on
September 22. I was doing the sound walk with Brooks, but again, glad you're back and making it happen.
We're here, so it's nice to see everybody. I haven't met some of you, so it's nice to see you. Thank you for your service to the city. Mayor, I apologize in advance. You've already seen and heard this, so here we go, round two. Am I doing the clicking or?
I can click her right here.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so these are the amendments to the noise ordinance. The first reading is actually scheduled for this evening before the City Commission. Some of you may know that we did have a workshop on November 18th where I sought direction from the City Commission on a couple of topics, and I'll go over some of those things today. So like Brian just said, we've been working on this a really long time, and I'm not necessarily proud of that, but it was a lot of work. Noise has constitutional ramifications and consequences, so you always have to be very mindful of people's right to make sound, but understanding that there have to be bounds, limitations to that. So we've been working on this since 2022. Brian was one of the awesome participants of our noise study. He walked around with our acoustic expert and measured noise. We did sound walks throughout the entertainment district. And based on the data that we collected from the sound walks, we were able to draft the noise ordinance that you're going to see today. Our goal is to have this adopted in early 2025. We're going to have some component of staff training because it's a vast change from what we currently have. And then from there, we're looking at implementation in sometime in the early spring. So what are objective to amendments? Basically you want ordinances that create certainty. With this one, we need to find a balance between the residents and the businesses, especially in that downtown area where you have that mix of uses. We want to manage expectations. We want our businesses to understand what the city is looking for, and we want to ensure fairness and consistency with our code enforcement. So what stayed the same? So the boundaries of the entertainment district stay the same. That was a pretty robust conversation with the City Commission at the workshop. I think right now we're going to keep those boundaries the same and treat any type of an extension as a conditional use. The hours of permissible noise also stay the same, and the penalties stay the same. Penalties are typically governed by Florida statute, so you can't make changes to the penalties, and so that's why that's status quo. some of the proposed changes, and the biggest change is that we're going to be going from a subjective standard to an objective standard. And the way that I like to describe it is, my kids make a lot of noise, so I'm always telling them, turn it down, turn it down. That's subjective, right? Because what they think is loud and what I think is loud are two very different things. The objective standard is like a speed limit, right? When you're driving on 95, you know that the speed limit is 65 miles per hour. So you have that bar. If you exceed 65, you might get a speeding ticket. If you're below it, then you're in compliance with the Florida statute. So that's really the main change that we're making with this, is we're going to an objective standard for the most part. We still have some subjective language in there, and you'll see the specific scenarios where the subjective standard may still apply. We did create a new map of the entertainment district. That's a little bit better than, if anybody's familiar with the old one, it was like I drew it. So now planning and zoning drew it, and it's much more defined. And then we also updated some of the old definitions in the code to bring them up to current law. So, some of the proposed changes are to the exempt activities. These are activities that are not subject to enforcement. So noise that comes from emergency response vehicles, unamplified human voice. There's a list of about 20 different things in here. There is one change. The commission had a discussion about landscape maintenance equipment, and we do get a lot of resident complaints about, early Saturday morning, people are, blowing leaves, mowing the lawn, and doing things like that. So we had a discussion about that. I'm a big believer in whatever regulations we have on the books, staff needs to follow them as well. And so we did have a little bit of an issue with that. Staff does start very early. They come to work at 6 a.m. and they start at 7 a.m. to do the lawn maintenance for the city property. And so that's going to be a matter for discussion tonight with the City Commission. I'm going to be asking to maintain the hours a little bit earlier on the weekdays to accommodate staff and their responsibilities. We also clarified what permissible construction activity is in this section of the code. So section 99.04 is the prohibited activities. These are the activities that are not permitted by the code. And you'll see things like the engines without the mufflers. That's actually in Florida statute, but we're also reinforcing it by putting it into our code. Those are those loud mufflers that you hear on Atlantic Avenue. We also have in here pedaling or hawking along a roadway. So if you're stopped at the light, where is it? By 95, Atlantic and Swinton, Atlantic and 95. If somebody's out there screaming, yelling, it's unreasonable, it's loud, our officers do have the ability to cite under the noise ordinance. Sirens, amplifiers, loudspeakers. And there was also a discussion with the City Commission about animal noise. We had it listed as 20 minutes or more. We did amend that to 10 minutes. So if somebody's dog is barking for more than 10 minutes, they could be cited by code. Section 99.05 is the next section that receives some changes, and this is where you're going to see the objective standard that I just talked about. And so we do have differences, and there's a chart in there that differentiates between residential, commercial, the entertainment district, and community facilities. And those are going to tell you the different decibels that are permissible. It also differentiates between active hours and quiet hours. The hours are still the same for noise. We didn't make a change to the hours. And as those of you who have businesses in the entertainment district know, the entertainment district doesn't allow louder noise. It just allows it for longer. So it's allowed to take place until a little bit earlier in the morning in order to accommodate the restaurants and bars in that area. So there's a sound meter. That's what they're going to look like. They're handheld devices. They typically have a little windscreen on them to block the wind. And so after second reading, once the commission adopts a noise ordinance, that'll be the next step, is to purchase these sound meters and to ask our noise consultant to come in and train staff. So we're going to be training not only our code enforcement department, but also our police department as well, to be able to obviously learn how to utilize these, learn how to calibrate them, and that'll assist them in prosecuting these noise ordinances. So this section 99.06, this is what I was speaking about. So this is the only portion where we still have a subjective standard in our noise ordinance, and it's very, very limited. We don't want to encourage our staff to depart from the objective standard, because in my opinion, that's the gold standard. That's the standard that is going to tell you if it's a yes or a no as to a violation. But there are going to be circumstances when you're not going to be able to use a noise meter. If it hasn't been calibrated, if there's a lot of wind, you're not going to be able to use a noise meter. If it's obviously not working at the time. So we do have very specific finite circumstances where the plainly audible standard can be used, but in order to discourage employees or staff utilizing the standard if they don't have to, the penalty for the plainly audible standard is only a warning. So under a noise violation after a warning, you can start imposing fines. This, if somebody has to use this standard, the best they're going to be able to do is give a warning. And then, like we just talked about, these are the penalties under the noise ordinances. Like I said, they're governed by Florida statute. The first step is going to be a warning, which is typical with most code compliance matters. We typically give a warning. We give a reasonable amount of time to comply. With noise, the reasonable time to comply is immediately. So you should be able to just turn the sound lower into an acceptable range, and then that should be at the end of the encounter. If we do have to keep subsequently coming back to enforce the noise ordinance, each instance is punishable by a separate fine. And again, the goal is always compliance, so we hope we never get to the situation, but if we have to, the fines can be up to $5,000, or if it's irreparable or reversible, it's $15,000. And then these are just some of the questions that I posed to the City Commission. Like I said, the entertainment district at this point is not going to be expanded. We did talk about the purchase of noise meters and training of staff. And like I said, the gas-powered equipment, the commission did give direction on that. This evening, I anticipate asking them to give a little bit of latitude on the weekday mornings in order to accommodate our union employees who typically start their workday at 6 a.m. They're not doing the maintenance at 6 a.m., but they do have a start time at 7. The commission's direction was 8 a.m., so I'm going to ask that we keep it the same for everybody, so it'll be 7 a.m. That'll be subject to the commission's direction and approval this evening. And that's it. Questions?
Yep.
Start with you.
Thank you, sir. Are we going to post in all areas where people come in and out of the city so that somebody who's driving with a loud car in Boynton passes into our city? Will he be notified in advance with a sign, or
Notified of the noise,
that there's a
excessive
noise
noise?
ordinance here that there's not in Boynton?
Well, actually, Florida statute governs noise ordinances too for mufflers. And so ignorance of the law is no excuse, right? So you don't necessarily have to post that. That is a statute that's applicable to all counties and cities in Florida. So it's consistent. You know, the problem with that is when officers take a complaint from somebody, typically they have to, they don't necessarily need to, the officer doesn't necessarily need to have firsthand knowledge. They can take the information from the complainant. With these types of situations, they have to have firsthand knowledge. So they have to be standing there listening to the muffler with their noise meter, able to capture it in order to be able to start the process of citing someone. And as you can imagine, it's a challenge, you know.
Yeah. There's also one other thing. Somewhere I read this, I apologize, I don't know where it is now, but it mentions that if you alter a car, if you can't alter it where the sound is any greater than the sound that it came from the factory. Mm-hmm. So many people change mufflers and stuff, and it's not real loud, but it is louder than the standard.
Right.
Does it actually have to be exactly the same? And
I don't think so. I think it's just that decibel number. And I think that's the importance of having this objective standard, because what someone's going to think is louder than the factory versus not, if you have a decibel, if you have an actual physical number, it's going to make enforcement just a lot easier.
I think it's going to be a nightmare. I understand, especially when my restaurant is, it's really loud. But I still think it's confusing. And it's, even though it's objective, so much of it I think will be subjective when people are cited. Or will they, if someone's cited, will they have to have an actual reading with the meter?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yep, you have to have the reading, you have to put it on the citation. And again, the goal is compliance, so the first step will always be a warning. After the warning, if they have to continue to come back, then at that point, you're looking at a potential citation.
You said it's always a warning?
The first
It's always a
there
warning
first.
for the plainly audible standard. It's always a
Only for
warning.
sound, not for other things.
This is all sound.
There's
I'm just talking about noise.
Right,
today.
okay, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Do you have anything to add?
Nope.
I got stuff to add. Again, great job. This is really awesome. I'm glad to see something coming out from the city. Been looking for it for a long time, so it's
We
good.
know.
Good to see you push it out. The one thing that I think was missing, and again, I'm not here to like nitpick the stuff. Very good information. I love the definitions are great, very clear. When you talk about the measuring, there are some specifics on how you measure, but it doesn't say where you measure from. I don't know if we want to add that in, because before it was 100 feet away from the property. Here it does say says property boundary, but if you're standing right at the property versus 100 feet away and what's loud, I think I would maybe suggest, and everyone else can chime in, but that you keep it at the 100-foot standard. So you're 100 feet away when you measure the sound, and they should be the same distance from wherever they're measuring. Because in this, I love the decibel, I love the objectiveness. The one thing it's missing, and it's telling you can't have it high, you can't have it too low, you can't have it by these surfaces, but it does not say you have to be 100 feet away from the boundary of the property, which is where it was before. So it's like I'd kind of assume that's where they're measuring from, but we may want to make so it's totally objective to make sure that they're measuring from the same distance from any property, would be my suggestion.
I think the 100 feet away was under the plainly audible standard.
Right.
And it was because the idea was if I'm 100 feet away, if I can't make out the words to the song, then it's not unreasonably loud. That was kind of the idea of it. I think this one, the property line, is important because, number one, we don't want to have the ambient noise. We don't have the noise around. And they're pointing it directly at the property in order to make that determination as to whether or not where those decibels are.
So they're going to be standing at like the door of the property doing the measurements?
Property boundary.
Yeah. All right. And again, the only reason I bring this up is because even during our sound walk, which I pulled up some of the information from, 2022, or maybe it was in December of, I don't know, it was from the sound walk. But, and again, I'm looking at our new decibel kind of like the limit levels. And, it's just concerning because like places like Breathe, it was closed. We were standing outside on the highway and it was running 73 decibels, right? And like 73, you're outside, even in the commercial area, it stops at 70 during the active hours. So technically, if someone was just standing there and the business is closed, even though the decibels aren't coming from the business at this point, we know because it was subjectively done, I would look at bumping some of these up about 5 decibels, just because honestly, like looking at when like Johnny Brown's, again, they were running 75 to 85, on like a Saturday night. And again, if you're measuring right from the property where all the people are and the band is, there's no way to really, I just think that it makes sense to at least be a certain distance from the property, possibly, especially ones that don't have walls, like you're measuring the sound. But
everything
again,
that you're saying is a consideration. There is going to be a period of time where we need to test this out. And so, and I did mention this, after everybody's trained and after everybody receives their sound meters, there's going to be a warning period, 30. And at that point, we can test out the ordinance. And if we're finding that, the numbers are too low or it's not fair, the amazing thing about laws is that they are subject to change, and it's a living, breathing document, and you bring it back to the commission and explain to the commission what's going on. I'm not in a position to change those numbers because, as you know, they're based on data and they're based on what a consultant recommended to the city. So I would have to go back to him and have those. We will troubleshoot this. This is not going to be it's not going to be easy to start this up, and there is an educational period and a warning period and things like that.
Yeah. I'm just so you know, and again, you probably know this stuff, but you may not remember the decibels from the sound walk. I do because I was like very sensitive to it. But like the alley south of Atlantic Avenue behind Tin Roof was running, up to 76 with music and voices, which again would kind of, put it over a lot of the stuff. East Atlantic Avenue, Old School Square Park was 70 to 80. That was over. That was at the park. Lulu's was 60 to 70. East Atlantic Avenue, Johnny Brown's was 75 to 85. Second Avenue Throw Social was 60 to 71. the OG. The OG was closed, by the way, and it ran 62 to 68. Just, we were just below 70, and the business wasn't even open when we did the sound walk. So that's just the air conditioners and noise outside. West Atlantic Avenue Breathe, I mentioned, was 70 to 73 decibels, and I'm just saying them out loud so they're on the record. And then the Third and Third, which was closed at the time, was 55 to 63. So it's just like the closed businesses are almost hitting, the lower level of what our rules are. So just take maybe Tom, when you look at it again on the commission, you could kind of look at what the old sound study did, because that's the most objective thing we have on decibels, is when we hired Bennett Brooks to do it.
Well, Bennett's the one who came up with these numbers.
Yeah,
so.
I know, I understand.
I promise you, staff did not make up these numbers.
No, I know.
They're data driven and they're factually based, and this is what he recommended based on his training and experience. So.
Okay, that's fine. Again, I'm just
Sure.
and then that was really my one thing, is just where you're measuring from, because I didn't see it anywhere. But I guess you're just
I'll
staring at
address
the
that.
door.
That's a good point. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Yeah, so in regard to I guess muffler exhaust and those type of noises, you said that was state statute, but then were we not really enforcing it, I guess, and that's why we're backing up with the city statute?
So at this point, we haven't purchased the sound meters. The only way that you're going to be able to capture that sound is through a sound meter. And I know some people have them on their cell phones, but unfortunately, the law says, and you know this, the law doesn't allow us. We have to actually have the sound meter.
Okay.
So I think the city manager was waiting for us to get this ordinance out, have it adopted, and then we'd be able to capture that.
Thank you, Lynn Jones.
Thank you.
All right. Is that everyone? I think we're good. I appreciate you bringing it to
Thank
us
you.
and letting us
I
take a
appreciate
look
your
at
suggestions,
it, and
so.
just trying to give you a little color from us and continue on. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
Brian, did you want to ask anybody from the public, because this is going to be on the agenda tonight?
Are there any public comments on sound ordinance? Anyone want to
They have
speak
some
up and share their thoughts?
I'm John Mallon, 12 Southeast First Avenue. There's a lot of comments, actually. I'll try and get the main ones. When you guys walked around, that was well publicized. Everyone, because we're near them, Honey and Tin Roof, those noise levels were extremely lower than an average night, extreme lower. So by having a presence, altered your data. And the guy that's taking the data, he's really nice, by the way. We talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
All those venues were like little angels 2 weeks before you made your first measurements. Seriously.
No,
They were perfect angels. We didn't know you were measuring, but we knew something was going on. And then all of a sudden the microphones go up and it's like, ah. So your data is not what normally happens. And we had some residents, when they do complain, the police will go over and they tell us there's nothing they can do. And they'll go in and tell them to turn it down. Within a few minutes, we're right back up, if not louder, as a penalty for calling it in. So I don't know how you're going to have a cop he's going to have to actually just sit there all night with a sound meter, I mean, they don't care, right? They don't care. It's not enforced. Right. Right, but if the funny thing is, you look at reviews, and if you look at Tin Roof through Tennessee and everywhere, one of their biggest complaints is it's too loud. I mean, it's just universal wherever they are. So I doubt they're going to change. And the funny thing is, if they turn the music down, everyone's still going to show up. Who isn't? Right? Everyone's course is going to still show up. They're not going to say, "Oh, my ears don't hurt tonight. I'm not going." It's got to be enforced, and so I don't know how you can do that. I mean, literally, the cop's going to go. A few minutes later, right back up. It's a game over there. There's no common sense with the managers there. They just do. They know they can get away with it. Not going to change. So that's my comments. Is your data is wrong, and your guy is very nice. We talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a super nice guy, but we told him that you're altering the data. This isn't good data. It's just. And the other thing, decibels is logarithmic. So if you say, "Oh, let's add 5 or 10," well, 10 is doubling.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, if you're reading 75 and you're adding 10 to 85, that's perceived as doubling to the human, which you can't just say, "Oh, let's add 5 or 10." It's a huge, and even 5 is very discernible, depending on the frequency, right? But 10 is extremely discernible. So I think it just needs, if we're really serious about it, so you got to have some enforcement.
Yeah, no, I
You know,
agree.
like strong enforcement and really go after these guys. That's the only way I think things are going to change and to come up with a reasonable standard. But like when you walk by, you can cross the road and walk by Tin Roof. You can't talk to someone. You can't have a conversation. Right? I mean, that to me, that's too loud.
The decibels will help with that, and I'm sure that's over 85, because 85 is like a
that's
louder
well
voice.
over 85.
Yeah, exactly.
We
You know,
measure
like,
on our
you're
phone.
familiar with them, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And the
we
phones
can
are
measure
pretty
on our phone. It's
fairly
like
accurate.
80, 85 to 90. You know, it's in that range all the way up till 2, 3 in the morning.
One of the things I'll throw out there, and again, I know some other venues that have done this, and it's something that I know Lynn, the gentleman, had talked about, and I do agree with you, because I think everyone is playing a little tighter, but even
no
with them,
question about
we
it. We
still
were
have,
amazed.
yeah.
Like, oh my God, if every night was like this.
And we still have
It
what
would
they
be nice.
measured from the quieter ones, right? And I do know that he did leave equipment out for like a month,
They
but I
saw
just
it.
don't. Yeah, I don't know. But the one
They
thing
saw
I
it.
would say is that there's technology today, and I know some venues have incorporated it, where it goes in and it measures the decibels of each single speaker,
Yeah.
and you can put it in. So even if the manager turns it up,
Yeah. But
the
you know
owner of
what
the
is
place
it's-
can put a lock on it. So.
Yeah. We noticed that the venues, the bands
Yeah.
bring in their own equipment.
And it may
So
be- it may
their
be-
sound guys who's cranking it up.
Yeah, but again, if it's done right, their sound guy, if it's going through the system,
No
can't
question.
even go past
Yeah, no
it. So
question.
maybe that's something we also want to look at for
Yeah.
certain venues, that they should have that piece of equipment, maybe when through the planning and zoning, and
Yeah.
then have the decibels measured, because they can literally go when no one's there, turn it up and make sure. Because some of the
Yeah.
other issue that does come with these venues, like a Tin Roof, is when there's 200 people outside, it's loud. You go
Yeah.
into a conference and
But
a
it's the
place,
music
people are talking.
that's-
Yeah,
I mean,
but the music,
it's-
I think there's a way to take care of that. I
Yeah,
really,
and
I
the
do
people
believe
are
there
loud
is a way.
because they're screaming over
Yeah.
80 decibel music.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, no, so it's a real problem. If you're not serious about enforcing it, there's really nothing you can do, or
Yeah.
it might be a waste of time to even rewrite things. But
Yeah, I think they're coming in, pretty with the enforcement strong. Once they have the equipment, we're hoping that.
yeah, my
gets addressed.
recommendation would be like Tin Roof and Honey, just put a microphone 100 feet out, and make them pay for it, and send it back to the police station.
Mhm.
Seriously, it's not
That's
going to
not-
cost a
yeah.
lot. And then make them pay for it. It'll be $500 a month or something. They can split the fees, and then you'll know. And then you can actually give them a warning, like to their computers. So
Well, it's definitely a concern, and appreciate you coming out and spending your
yeah,
time with us to
yeah,
let us
because we've
know on
been
the
complaining
subject.
a lot,
Yeah.
but again, nothing happens at the street level. They just laugh it off. So.
Yeah. Well, let's see if we can do something about
I
it.
could assure you that most of the complaints are not laughed off. I don't want to speak to your personal experience, but I could attest to personally that the police department is very
Not
much,
by the police, the venue. The venue don't care. They don't care.
well. I can't speak to that, but I thought that
Yeah.
your comment
No,
was that
no,
once you
not
make
at
a
all.
call,
No,
or
the
that
police.
you're-
I can't say enough about the city services,
Okay.
from the people that come out at 6 a.m. To the police, to the code enforcement. They've been wonderful. Every one of them.
That's wonderful.
Every
to hear,
one of them.
too.
At 6 in the morning, you go by a maintenance guy, he says hello.
Yeah.
Where does that happen? So these guys are great. Every
I just wanted to say that I think it's going to be important that you're going to come to the city commission meeting, which is going to be discussing this, because they will be the ones actually adopting the ordinance.
All right.
And give your input there, to things
Yeah.
that you've noticed and where you think there's deficiencies, where you think there are strengths, because
Right.
it has both. And, the city, it's a start. Let me just
Yeah.
say that it's a start. And
Yeah.
it may need to be tweaked as
Because I
we
did
go
go
along.
to the original one when they rolled it out, and I
So-
made my same statements. I knew the data was going to be bogus.
Well,
I
some
actually
years ago,
told the
there
guy
was
at the meeting
different.
it would be bogus.
It's gotten. There's certainly been a lot of discussion on this one way or the other, and but I do think
Yeah.
you should make sure you come to the commission when it's written to be an ordinance,
Yeah.
and give that's a time when things can be tweaked and added or
Right.
subtracted from the thing as
Yeah.
everyone would seem fit.
Because that corner is the
fit.
gateway to the city, right? The town.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of trashy to have where you can't even talk to one another. In my opinion, it's just not the right entry. Welcome to Delray, and you can't even talk. And if you notice, like when people come into town, they drop everyone off at that corner. So that's the first thing they're gonna. But anyway, that's just my feedback.
Great. Well, thank you again for coming and
Yeah.
sharing your thoughts. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anyone else, public comment, care to speak on the noise ordinance? Seeing none, do you have something to say?
No, all I was
Something
going to
else?
say was I thought that was a very good idea, because I think if there is a cap on how high they can go, then it just takes all the guesswork out of it. You know, it's just capped to the approved level, and I think that would be a great piece of equipment to institute.
Yeah. So I'll forward you something on it, Lynn, at least one piece of it, so you got it in your back pocket. And again, it was something we talked about, 3 years ago, because I think that's what they do in South Beach, a lot of the places and whatnot. All right. Thank you again. And moving on down the agenda. Next up,
4AA.
oh, 4AA. That's right. Sorry, they gave me a new agenda with highlights, and I put my old agenda down. 4AA, we're going to start with the city audit and then move to the Senate letter.
Right.
Well, actually, 4A
Is the internal city audit that
Yeah,
was just
4A.
concluded and presented to the city commission this past Monday, I believe.
Walk us through it, sir.
All right. So as I just said, the audit was completed over several months of, intense back and forth between the city's auditor and the DDA staff providing documents and information. That information was compiled into the report you have in your backup. There was a very brief presentation before the city commission on this past Monday, a week ago, and the audit found that there were minimal things that needed to be worked on by the DDA, namely policy and some internal controls. I will say that there were pointed questions by members of the commission about whether or not there was found any specific fraud or abuse by the DDA, and the answer by the auditor was no, there was none. So other than the work that the DDA has already committed to continuing to make its processes and procedures a little bit better to address the concerns of the auditor, there was no other findings of any sort that would be untoward. And I'll turn it over to Suzanne if she wanted to make few other comments.
Yeah, so last week we were notified by the state that Senator Mac Bernard had asked for the Legislative Auditing Committee at the state level to conduct an operational audit on the DDA. This letter was sent on November 10th, which was in the midst of our audit with the city. And as you can see in that letter here, Senator Bernard quoted the Sun Sentinel article or the op-ed by the mayor, where he had made some pretty serious allegations about the DDA. And so that is where Laura and Jim are today. They are in Tallahassee going before this committee to find out what is happening. So it looks like, once again, we are being asked to go through another very intense audit that will, basically derail our daily operations. And so it's very frustrating from our perspective that this is happening again.
Nobody, okay.
Not a lot we could do about it. Just got to deal with it, I assume.
I think,
No.
I think there's something to be said about this.
I do too.
I think.
There's-
Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to take some time. You want to
No.
say something?
No, I was just going to direct to his question of what to do about it. That's why Laura and Jim are up in Tallahassee right now to speak on the item and discuss because the people on the board or on that particular committee aren't from Delray, so they don't know what the DDA does and how it does it. And they may or may not know that the audit that just completed and the findings of that audit, they may not even know that exists. So they're going to talk about those types of things to express, the role the DDA plays in the city and the need for that role to continue in the city for the downtown of Delray beach to remain vibrant and continue to be vibrant as it continues to grow and new projects come and go. There's going to be a need for the DDA to continue its mission, and that's to support the businesses which have come out to support the DDA throughout, all this other audit process that you've all heard at the podium over the past several months. So there is something that can be done. It's being done. What comes from today's committee hearing, we'll find out later today, I assume, and then we'll go with next steps from that. But you all's position on the board also, and the comments you're going to make today also will carry a lot of weight, I think, with regards to the folks in Tallahassee and how they feel about, what you're here and serving the public. So.
Okay. I didn't know this was going to come up. I just found out about it yesterday. And so I scribbled some stuff down here. And I'm not really great at disparaging other people from the dais especially, but I'm pretty ticked off. So as our attorney said, the commission had the meeting last week, and three points of very moderate and mild improvements to the way we do business, because we operate a little bit like a family operation at times. And so our audit that we just had with the city will help us clean up our books and just make it that much better. But the reason why we had the city audit is the problem. And the problem is the mayor, and he's sitting right there. The mayor made many, many disparaging remarks about the DDA, implying improprieties, implying mismanagement from the dais during commission meetings, loudly, somewhat obnoxious as far as I'm concerned, and that's personal. But I felt it was personal. I felt that the mayor, who says it's not personal,
Right.
who says it's
Are we allowed to do
business, it's politics,
Hold
I
on
don't think.
now. Are we allowed to go back and forth bashing, or just gonna be, how are we doing
Just
this?
trying to see where he's going.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, the mayor, during our millage, look, I tried to scribble everything down, so let me just go through it.
Let me just.
The mayor,
I have to go because I have a meeting with.
well, it'll be on tape.
with
Just,
Lois
you
Franklin,
know,
but I have a few comments to say.
well, as soon as I finish
Well,
my
you want to say
comments,
they're minor.
I don't think you
When-
have the right to speak. I have the right to speak.
Continue on. Let's keep
Okay,
it
well,
like.
if you want to miss, so you'll speak.
I've heard you speak.
I will be
And you can speak at the commission meeting, you always do. The bottom line is, if you don't speak, you write letters. You write letters to our constituents.
There's one coming.
I'm excited. I can't wait. So you write letters, you
Just
disparage
explain
us.
What?
I
I'll
didn't
just
want to
explain. I have
get,
to leave here because I have a meeting with Congresswoman Frankel. So you can keep going on and make sure I don't comment.
Just bring
I
it to a
didn't,
head.
I'm not doing this so you comment. I've already
No, I
heard
know
your
that.
comments. I want to comment because I haven't done this up till now, where you've done it many times.
That's fine.
You've written
I'm
letters.
just saying, I'm like giving you a timeline.
Okay, fine, and I appreciate it, okay? So, you've implied mismanagement, you've implied impropriety, and we've had our regular audit every year for 53 years, and we had this city audit, which you insisted on, and which turned up nothing. It showed that we are not mismanaging, we are not improprietous, and we are doing an excellent job, okay? You wrote the letters, you even used city stationery on some. But what you never did is you never called the DDA to really talk to us about all this stuff. Okay? You just consistently and publicly implied the mismanagement and the impropriety. You say it's not personal, but then again, it sure seems personal. And as the attorney said, and I don't want to miss this, the mayor, Senator Mac Bernard, who is running the potential audit conversation today, did not have the advantage of the results of our audit, and I think that will weigh heavily today, and most likely it will go nowhere. But this continuous, incessant ranting, the attempts to discredit the DDA from the dais while you're there, even from our pulpit at our meeting, permeates all the way through the city management now, from the city manager to the assistant city manager, down through the management staff. The DDA suffers. The city relationship with the DDA suffers and continues to suffer. You said that the DDA has done its job. It's done The downtown development is complete, and downtown and the business environment doesn't need the DDA, and yet the DDA's marketing is international. The operations are such that we've got international acclaim, and I do believe that I'm assuming that Mac Bernard did today's meeting based not just on your article, but I'm assuming in the manner in which you were so vocal, I feel that you were vocal towards him as well, and I think that it's no accident that Mr. Bernard did it. I'm just so proud of the DDA and its marketing efforts, its operations, both at the Old School Square and in the actual DDA stuff. It's 53 years of success in operations, 53 years where we've created in lieu parking, where we donated parking lots to the city for $10. The DDA continues to operate. When you drive down the street at night, the poles are wrapped, the trees are wrapped. The DDA's fingerprint is everywhere. When you were disparaging the DDA and talking about millage, we had scores of constituents come to the podium to defend the DDA and its actions. I think that if anything is necessary, I think perhaps you might want to apologize to the DDA for the manner and your actual mannerisms and how you presented from the podium in attempting to disparage us. And I guess that's about enough, yeah.
Do you want to?
Well, as I said, I have to go to this this thing from the beach reclamation. But I will just say from the outset, this was a limited audit. It only had to do with the expenditures related to the money that the city gives the OSS, not for the entire DDA. The problems of the DDA that were exposed are not small. Not having sufficient policies in place to ensure that public dollars are being spent correctly is not a small thing. If you were a bank, they would shut you down. Okay? So you can say it's a small thing. You can say, well, they didn't find any problem, but yet there's the line here saying there was incomplete or a non-existent record. So let me just say this. Why the auditor responded to the question, was there any fraud, when her own thing says, I didn't have all the receipts, is a question that I'm going to be asking. Because you can't make that statement unless you have all the receipts. Maybe you can, but generally an auditor, when they don't have all the receipts, would never say, I saw nothing. They would say, well, from what I saw, but there was some missing receipts. I'm still not suggesting there was thievery or anything such as that. I am saying that there are incomplete records. And with public funds, there is no wiggle room for not having proper procedures in place. And the fact that the DDA is saying it's going to take them 3 months to come into compliance, to come up with the policies, adopt the city policies. You don't have to take 3 months. You should adopt the policies because you have credit card deficiencies. Again, these are just, you can say that means nothing, but it's public dollars. It's not the $1 million expenditure that gets companies into trouble. It's the $20,000 expenditure that they did incorrectly that gets them into trouble because it's public dollars. So we can argue that you want to operate like a family business. You're not a family business. You're custodians of taxpayer dollars. So to suggest that there's nothing in this audit when they say to you, you have incomplete records, you commingle funds, you can say, well, it wasn't a lot. You commingled funds. If I did it with a law firm trust account, I would be disbarred. You cannot do certain things. You just say because they were small amounts, they don't count. They do count. Again, not suggesting anybody lined their pockets and walked out the door and bought a new car. I never once suggested that. Never once suggested that. But to suggest that the policies and procedures are correct as they relate to dealing with taxpayer dollars, they are not. That's what this audit said. 3 findings said the same thing. Now, you can say they don't mean anything, and that's your view. And yes, I do think the state will look at this thing that you said. They're going to take this into account. Yeah, they're going to take into account. Well, this was a limited audit for just how they spent their $800,000, but they get $2 million. So, if these are the problems with the small part of the contract, what is the rest? So I don't think this helps. I think actually going up there doesn't help because it makes it look like you're worried about it. But that would have been my advice. I wasn't asked. But to suggest that because this limited scope audit is going to be determinative of what comes out of a main audit of the body, I wouldn't, because there are no doubts, because they didn't examine whether or not certain expenditures were for a public purpose or not. That was not the scope of this audit. It will be the scope of somebody's audit when they start looking at how you spent taxpayer dollars. Okay? So, I mean, all I'm saying is I'm trying to answer your specific thing, saying, you're upset, you're this and that, all of which is
My
fine.
questions weren't about you, weren't about the audit.
Let
They were
Tom-
about
let
your
Tom finish.
your demeanor and what you said
Let Tom
and
finish,
how you
please.
said it.
Let Tom finish,
Well,
please.
I think my demeanor is frustration too, because I like to see that when people are spending public dollars, they do in conformity with established public auditing practices.
Yeah.
So the fact that I'm frustrated, even if it's a small amount of money, I'm frustrated because I would insist that the city does it. When you're in financial institution, they insist that they do it. This is not personal. You may think it's personal. I've never once, you would love to say that I'm out there trying to get rid of the DDA. I am not.
It's your words, not mine. Your words to
Yeah,
disband.
I remember what you're taking out of context, which is fine. You do that well, and that's fine. You can do that. But you can't pretend that this audit didn't expose some sufficient deficiencies as it relates to how do you spend public money.
Well, there were 3 deficiencies.
No,
and
they were minor, you said. You think
I think they are.
You think having incomplete records of how you spent public money is minor.
Yeah.
I
I don't want to get into like an argument of it. It's been done. It's been documented. I will tell you.
So as for apologies, well, I'm going to wait and see what the audit says. I always wait. I didn't comment on the city's audit until it was over. I didn't say and I had nothing to do with. I didn't even know who this. It doesn't really matter what I knew. So
we have the city's audit that was presented and approved or accepted, I should say, by the city commission.
we didn't have to accept it at all. As you know, she said we didn't have to vote or accept it.
I heard
It was
that.
just
I was-
presented.
I heard
I know
that.
you were there.
I was.
I know. I'm just saying, so I'm just saying what the city attorney said at the thing. So
She said there
The audit
didn't
was
need to be
conducted.
it didn't need to be voted on. You just received it,
correct,
which you did. That's all I'm saying.
right.
All right.
And I
can I
did not have if I were out to get them, I would have used that meeting to do it. I wanted to digest the stuff. Still don't have the backup. They reference, commingled funds. We don't have the. Show me which of the funds that have been commingled. I don't have those. I'd like to see those. There's a lot of stuff that I'm
the
gonna be asking
city's
for.
the city's auditor conducted the audit. She's very capable.
I'm not questioning the audit skills. I'm saying I don't have. She referenced.
She finished the audit. So
and she referenced-
the DDA has agreed to work on the things that she pointed out, and we're doing that.
Quentin, I'm not arguing with what you're saying. What I'm saying
Okay.
is that it references commingling of funds. She doesn't articulate where. I want to know where they are. What funds were commingled? What were the amounts of the funds commingled? She references not having all the credit card receipts. I want to know which one she's talking about. So she references them, but I had no backup. You have no backup. We have the report. Actually, I don't even know if they even
Well,
have
you're the
full-
mayor. Can't you get the full?
No, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Well, no, you don't interfere with
Yeah,
an
but
audit.
what
But again,
records?
it's a
No, I'm
misunderstanding.
asking what
You're
records are you?
misunderstanding
What
what an audit
records
does.
are you
I
saying
don't
are
have authority.
missing?
Hold on.
What records are you saying were
yeah,
missing?
Suzanne.
One receipt was missing. One receipt.
Yeah.
One.
I'm not arguing with you.
Yeah. This is all I'm going to say about it in general.
Let Jewel go, because
Jewel.
I think we got a little
right.
sidetracked a little bit.
All
So
I'm saying
everybody-
is that in response, because I have to go,
I understand.
that I view, whether it's one receipt or 50 receipts, you're dealing with public money.
Yeah.
And if
I
that
think
one receipt that you're missing was a payoff to him, it's only one receipt. No, I'm not saying
it wasn't.
Well,
So how
on,
do I
Jay.
say there was nothing? There's nothing.
I don't think
untoward.
that's what Mr. Castillo meant by that. I'll let him correct that if he wants to, but I think he was intending to say something along the lines, and correct me, Al, I know you will, that the DDA is going to work towards the recommendations and has already indicated that they were doing so. And in fact, we are. There are policies that haven't
I'm
been
sure-
published that will address all those issues.
I'm confident that all the recommendations of the auditor are going to be filed. But as for the comment as it related to Mac Bernard and this whole thing, my issues when I brought up with the millage had to do with, had nothing to do with audits. It had to do with the Doge people talking about overspending of government, which is what they're doing with all these other kind of places. This is a group that I don't even know.
My complaint was about your disparaging the DDA
Yeah, I
from the
understand.
dais and from in the mail, in the U.S. mail, in everywhere
And
you
and
could.
look at
We felt it was very personal, and we felt very attacked. At least I did.
I'm happy to stand by the fact that you pay somebody $5,000 a month without a contract, who put on an event there, and the DDA, though it was outside the contract, agreed to pay $10,000 to put up the band at a hotel.
You want me to-
You can say that doesn't mean anything.
No, but I think I can criticize a lot more about what our city does with
That's
it.
fine.
But that's my
I don't
point.
conflate
All right,
issues.
we don't need
But
to
I
get
don't
into
disparage
a
the
back
city.
and forth. It's fine.
Oh, I do all the
Yeah.
time.
I know, but the
I brought up their misspending too, as you recall. If you came to our meetings, I talked about the city's budget.
I don't think you purported to have them disbanded because they were no longer useful.
It's been fun. I'm trying to be nice.
Thanks
you
for-
can disagree
thanks for
with,
being
You can
nice.
disagree with my analysis of how public funds should be treated.
Well,
Fine.
I take the public funds very, very seriously. I do whenever we look at the budgets. I do when I sit down with staff and go over everything. And I know the rest of my board does too.
Yep.
Mr. Mayor, you're leaving, that's okay. I just wanted to have discussions about certain things. So, one of the things, I've been inquiring, because obviously, I'm trying to do my homework a bit, because, there are these questions in the air, and we were having this audit done and so forth. To my knowledge, there is only one receipt that hasn't been accounted for, and I think it's less than $400, maybe even less than $300. So it's certainly not, paying somebody off in any kind of direction. I think it's for a restaurant bill at Rocco's Tacos. And that is the only receipt that is missing from the document. So I think the problem, and that Al is saying in a certain way, and that perhaps is offensive to some people, but I get it, is the manner in which the DDA kind of was accused before there being an opportunity to prove otherwise. So if you taint the public's perception of someone and you turn around and you say, well, there's a misappropriation of funds, or there's fraud, or there's this, or there's that, and you do go on, social media, and you do put an article in the newspaper, and you go on television, and you say things, there are a lot of people that don't take the time to do their homework, sadly. And so what happens is they'll see something, and, the mayor does hold a great position of power. And so there would be the assumption that he would be coming from a place of knowledge and a place that should be listened to. And so rather than there being this information gathered first, and then a public, sort of announcement of what it is that they're doing done after, because it was done the other way around, I think it did a lot of damage. It was perceived as a lot of disparagement to the DDA, and I think it puts them on the position of having to defend themselves when the audit showed that really, at the end of the day, there wasn't much of anything. Could they be a little bit more organized? Yes. But was anybody paying off a brother or buying a new car or doing things like that? Absolutely not. So there was no mismanaging of funds. And so I think that's where I think there's an apology that's due is kind of deserved. And that kind of bothers me. I also noticed in the letter from Mark Bernard, there were a lot of references to that article, and I think not a lot of it was true. And without going into too much detail, things like they made a reference of Savor the Avenue, and it should be, in the shoulder season, and then it got moved to something where the restaurants are already doing very well in March, but it was always in March. So there were just some inconsistencies that were referenced, again, as to the DDA's purpose and how they operate and the decisions that they make. And I think if it were more closely looked at and there were a discussion with the DDA or people did their homework, they would find that the DDA is doing things very consistent to what they've been doing for the past few years, which has been consistently growing the town and consistently bringing in new members, new tourists, new residents, new everything that want to come and live in this city because of so much of what the DDA does to make it so popular and to make it so wonderful to be here. So I understand where Al is coming from. Perhaps I'm a little bit more mild-mannered in my delivery, but I do think that there's an apology owed to the DDA. And I'm hoping, more importantly than anything, that if now in Tallahassee, there's now another audit that's done, which will sadly take the team at the DDA away from doing what they do best, which is actually running the DDA, because of all of the information that they're going to have to gather for Tallahassee. I hope that if those findings show, which I'm sure it will, that again, they're not doing anything wrong, that this will end. That this accusation will end. It says here in Mac Bernard's reference letter, it says, give me 1 second, I'm so sorry. It says, although the DDA's governing document does not establish a sunset date for the authority, it is legitimate to question the continued necessity of its existence. And I think that that's a very powerful statement. And I think what it's saying is, because it was established in 1971. So, you've done your job and that kind of thing. And I think the reality is we absolutely need the DDA and the existence of the DDA, and for the DDA to continue to do all of the wonderful things that it does, and all of the people that benefit from all of the work that the DDA does, not only the businesses, but all of the people that come here and visit, because it's a wonderful place to come to. So I think we very much need them. I think we're going to very much need them. And I question the direction of that. So in final, all I'm trying to say is that after Tallahassee is done doing their audit, if they decide that they still need to do an audit after they've seen what the audit results showed here, I really hope that when they find out that nothing's going on, that we can get on with business as usual, which is making Delray wonderful.
Can I just clarify one point that Jewel made? Jewel made the point about the one. Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Jewel made the point about the one receipt that's missing, and that one receipt is actually for dinner at Rocco's Tacos for a band that was based on a rider agreement that we had with them. So this was something that we provide as a regular course of business to bands that come to the area. This is not, a group dinner or any kind of staff thing, or a lot of innuendos were put out there about that, and that's not what that is. It's just a band that we paid for dinner because it's part of the agreement for them to perform at the amphitheater. I just wanted to clarify that.
Appreciate that. I'll go last. You want to jump in, Aaron?
This was just done on Old School Square, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't done on the DDA.
Right. They're just trying to get the rest of it, but it's the same operations.
I mean, everybody hates an audit. I know I do, but if that's what has to be done, that's what has to be done. But we have to realize that both entities are a business. City's a business, DDA is a business. It has to be run like a business. So when the mayor says one receipt, you can't say, well, it's just one receipt. because he's speaking for the city and we're speaking for the DDA area. You have to play the game both ways. And hopefully the audit if they do the audit gets conducted and it finds out that everything's good to go, and we need to get our relationship better with the city, because that's what we're ruining. What we're doing is we're treating this like it's like a club, when it's not a club, it's a business. And what we're doing by going back and forth with the attitudes that don't need to be there, we're making this difficult for all of us. It puts us in a bad spot, puts y'all in a bad spot, puts the city in a bad spot. It gets conducted, we move on, but we have to replenish our relationship, because what we're doing now is very detrimental to how further on this DDA board goes.
What exactly are we doing that's detrimental?
You can't do the back and forths and ones and twos. Like sometimes you don't have to say anything. Sometimes he says stuff on his own that you can just let him say it, and everybody's like listening. You know what I mean? But when you start, we've already had these same discussions. We've been saying the same thing since he's been coming to the board. We punch. He punches back. Just let the facts come out, and we have to get our relationships back with the city. We have to get the integrity of our board needs to work towards what we do best is the DDA downtown area, right? We're not working towards that right now. We're doing everything we can to deflect that. We need to get this relationship rekindled back with the city. That's what we need to do.
Can I just say
Sorry about
something? What I need to say is that we have been nothing but compliant here. Nothing but compliant. We have responded to every request.
Yes.
Every member of our staff has had to be part of this, has had to be on their toes about making sure that we have everything in order, finding things that, we maybe didn't know we needed to have in place properly. And we have been agreeable and forthcoming with everything we've done. But that is not to say that it has been easy on this association or that it has not deflected everything that we're trying to do. We're trying to also work very hard. We have a lot on our plates, all of us doing a couple of jobs here. We're busy, but
You're very busy. Yes.
we're being deterred, and this kind of scrutiny has been detrimental to how we function. It has caused problems with how we function and how we do our job.
100%.
That's not good.
It's not good.
That's
But
not a
I
good.
gotta stop.
And
I gotta
the
stop.
problem-
Understand.
Can
I
I
gotta
just say
stop,
one?
though.
I did need to say one more
One last
thing.
thing, and then I'm gonna take relationships are two-sided. But go on.
Relationships are 100% two-sided, but when accusations like this are coming at you, you can only keep your head down and do your job for so long, and at some point you have to say what you have to say. This has caused major upset in our organization.
Yep.
It has caused difficulty in our jobs. It has cost us not the ability to sleepless nights, not being able to do our job the way we need to do our job. That's not good, and for us to say nothing is not good.
Yeah.
We need to be able
I'm
to
gonna have to
speak.
stop you there. We hear you. I'm just, you've said it, but I want to move on with this meeting. You've said it. I promise. And I'm not here to cut you off. It's very clear. Our staff's upset. Running us through another audit is a big deal. We get audited every year anyways. I get it. I feel the frustration. It's the time. It's the questions. It's having to find all this stuff. I totally get it. The bigger situation that we're also touching on, though, is the relationship with the city. Because you can say, hey, they're being mean. We can only take so much. Well, guess what? I mean, without them giving us the money and telling us to run Old School Square with the ILA, our partner, we can't do it. There's nothing to be done. So it's, and look, sometimes it sucks. And I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying to make a relationship work, I know with my wife, sometimes she's generally right, but she lets me go on my explosion. I
She's
get
always
hot.
right.
I go crazy. She takes it chill. I come back to her and I'm like, that was inappropriate, babe. Like, thank you. And she doesn't even bring it up again. I mean, she's better than all of us. Thank you, babe. But I'm just saying, it's like, it sucks. And these audits are a waste of time, and they're taking us away from what we need to do. We get audited already by, the DDA and the Old School Square every year. And, the fact that he's making a big stink of a receipt missing, and we know what the receipt is, and it's part of a writer, it's just like, it would have been nice if we just say, hey, the missing receipt's this, we'll get it to you. We can move on
Simple.
instead of making it a whole thing.
Simple.
But we really, really, really need to work to have a good relationship with the city. Especially, look, we're going to be handing off Old School Square soon. And when the city came in, all these new commissioners came in, they loved DDA. Everyone was like, DDA, you're doing a great job. Old School Square, thank you. DDA, something changed. I don't know, when it was. When I was chairman, it was a good relationship. I felt like we had good communication, and it just got very head-buddy. And no, we're not being treated very well. And no, Tom, I don't agree with a lot of the stuff he's doing, but I can't tell him how to behave. I can just make sure that we try to take a higher road and do everything we can. Because at some point, unfortunately, we all love this Old School Square. It's going to go back to the city, and I don't know what the plan is. So
I just want to say one thing. I'm one of the things that I pride myself on is diplomacy and good relationships with people, with all my clients, with with everybody in my life. And I think a lot of it has to do with delivery, period. It's any two people can have a conversation about anything, regardless of how difficult it is or how uncomfortable it is, if the delivery is considerate. And I think that we're running into a problem somehow where I would love to have a great relationship with the city. I strive for it. I think that that's definitely the goal, is that we all work in unison, because that's what the city needs in every ounce of every department. I think the problem is if it's like I said before, if someone says you did this before they actually know if you did this, and then you have to backpedal to prove that you didn't do this, that hurts the relationship because you don't know how to respond. And I think we can get back on track. And I think that these audits, as inconvenient as they are going to help us get back on track. And all I'm saying is that I hope once all is said and done, that we can get back to business and we can be super productive, and we don't have to have these sessions where it is uncomfortable anymore. So hopefully that's the goal.
Cool.
Yeah, echo off of Jewel. Like, I think the audit, it is what it is. We'd had a couple of issues with it, but we're agreeing to go through and implement these new strategies. I mean, we can all get past that, I'd like to think, at this point. But I agree, Jewel. Like, it's about having just a conversation about this and delivery and, like, moving forward on everything. As for this letter, though, I mean, I don't feel like whoever started this whole fiasco understands really what the DDA does and how much effort it is to downtown. $2 million is not a lot of money for the downtown, especially if you divide it up over all the property owners in the area. The amount of money that we're driving to downtown and marketing and everything is the value is 50x this, if not more than that. And it's scary stuff, because I'm scared to see what the downtown's going to turn into if the DDA gets dissolved on this. It's concerning, I think, for sure.
Well, that's another point. I think that increase, I don't even know if that number is correct. I think it's less. But that's directly reflective of the fact that the city keeps, everything is growing. New hotels have opened and new restaurants have opened and there's new businesses.
Is because of downtown.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say again to kind of piggyback off that, and the importance of the DDA and still being, I don't want to jump. I'll let you go. You want to go, sir? All right. Yeah, just real quick, the reason to follow up on why the DDA is still important and why I think we should have a DDA in downtown is because we're focused on clean and safe. We're focused on supporting our businesses. We have incredible followings. We have an incredible team that pushes out all this great information about all these new businesses that are opening and supports these new businesses opening and helps keep the place clean with the guys that walk around and pick up trash. We've got our ambassadors that are around, making sure people are safe and that know their way around and have a presence in our downtown and make people feel good. The DDA does a lot. I'm a big believer. Our staff does more than a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, Maruska, when she says she's got like 3 jobs, she's got like 12 jobs.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like all of our staff does so much because we're the DDA, but then we're also kind of old school square at this point. So it's almost like 2 whole businesses that we're kind of running. And it's a lot. And again, you got these 2 whole businesses, and you start a business with $1.2 million budget, and then the next year you give it a $1 million total budget to spend, even though it's $800, we had some leftover, and then the next year $700. It's like that's a business that's going to be in a tough spot, because it's our mission is to bring things that are not just to generate revenue, but to help add to the cultural fabric and to support all of our businesses in this downtown. So,
and especially when you're adding every year to more and more businesses.
We're trying to make it better every year. We don't want to make it worse every year. We're not looking to take a step backwards. But that being said, I'll let you jump in, Mr. Barber.
My comments are short for real this time. The statements that were made over public records, the things that were released did paint a very, very hazy picture over what otherwise was not hazy at all. And until there's some ultimate clarity given to what it is and what it isn't, we're gonna have to. This is water that we all must navigate together, unfortunately. So it's kind of like one of those things where you're saying, on one hand, this is just a battle of public perception, because if you look at Mac Bedard's letter, he has no dog in the fight. He's just saying, well, somebody else said, so I think you ought to go ahead and do. And that's the same thing that Al said. It's the same thing that Julie says. Like, if someone else had not said, then maybe this would not be so. and that's the general consensus of it all. But on the other side of it, whatever practices that are misaligned, we got to just make sure we line up all those little practices so that the positive things that we were already doing with misaligned practices continue to be aligned. We're just going to line up the little practices that we misaligned, and we'll move forward. I mean, I think another thing that, and when you start talking about, it's kind of like anything that you only have the surface level information for. For example, if we're talking about a receipt for a band rider at Rocco's Tacos, which is directly across the street, that means that in my mind, because people have so little understanding about what it takes to put a show together, when they find out that a band had a meal and the city paid for the band, or the DDA paid for the band to eat, it could potentially snowball. It's not about really what it is, it's about what it could be, in a sense, because there's a lot of ignorance and misinformation. People don't know that if you hire a certain band from Missouri, you could probably get them cheaper if you pay for the keyboard to be delivered here and the drums and you set up everything, their backline agreement or whatever you need. But that's the level of ignorance that most of the people just don't know. People are very just unaware of what it takes to do anything. So I think that once everything works itself out and everything comes out, we should be able to get right on past this and continue doing the progressive work of the DDA in Delray Beach.
Yeah, thank you. I think that makes sense. I'll tell you, I've been on the Arts Garage Board. I've been on, City, CRA, a lot of boards that have audits. I've never seen an audit come out that has no comments. There's always comments on practices and things that can be done better. I'm just saying. So
Absolutely.
For an audit to come through and be clean, show there's no fraud, and then to have suggestions on things to help implement to make better, that's what audits are supposed to do, and that's information that audits always have. I mean, we could have pulled up the city audit and pulled out a bunch of things that they need to do better, because that's why they do an audit, but it's not a give and take here. It's just, I'm just clarifying for the record generally how audits work, and generally after an audit there are suggestions on things to tighten up, and you always just want to make sure that, is there a missing receipt? Usually sometimes that happens, but we know what it is, and I'm sure we'll find it. So
I just
I just wanted to say we can't find it because the issue is that the organization has totally changed their operating system, so there's no way to go back and get that same receipt. They cannot dig it out of their records.
Gotcha.
So,
But Mariska, the amount of money that is accounted for regarding that seat is literally
it's minimal.
200 and change or something. Okay.
Yeah, so I just want to say to close this item so you all can move on. Two things. First, I think the city commission as a body has and supports the DDA and what it's been doing. I've sat in a number of their meetings, and as a body, they've supported the DDA. As you all know, the contract allows either the DDA or the city to terminate with the 180 days. They haven't done that, so there's still a lot of confidence, and there's been a lot of compliments on the work that the DDA has done, particularly with Old School Square and generally overall in the city. I don't think they're not touting all the accolades that I forget who it was, that maybe it was Big Al who talked about the international acclaim, that they're not saying that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They are saying that
they're not.
Right. So I think the city commission as a whole, as a body, supports the DDA. And my second point, and it gets back to the audit, and I've had discussions with Laura about this, and she and I and the rest of the team have taken the comments and the suggestions very seriously. They aren't the things that, they aren't the big boogeyman that could have been, that were never going to be, but they are things that need to be taken care of, and I think the commitment is there, the desire to be better is there. There wasn't a attitude from the DDA's leadership that, we're not going to change. The attitude is we are going to change for the better, and we're going to continue to serve the people who we're here to serve. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I think the item is closed.
I would like to make one more statement.
Okay.
If you need to, if you feel like we're trying to run the meeting, but if you feel like you didn't get something out, Al, go ahead.
I just want to I want to agree with Quentin, and I want to agree with you specifically about the letter that was written and about the commission. The commission is not against us. The commission is not making any statements derogatory about how and what we do and how we operate. The letter that was quoted by Mac Bernard, the article that was in the paper, was written by the mayor of our city, the same mayor that made all the statements that I was complaining about, the same mayor that wrote the letters to the public on city stationery, not on city stationery, asking them to rebel against the DDA, that complained that we shouldn't exist, and the words are right in that article. I did not attack the commission. I did not attack the city. I didn't attack the audit. I attacked the person that continues to attack the DDA. And I'm sorry it was ugly, and I didn't mean it to be, and I'm sorry I got flustered because the mayor went at me right away. But the fact still remains that I am simply responding to the multiple attacks by that individual, not by the commission and not by the city, not by the auditor. And I'm not complaining that we had an audit. I'm just complaining that I think the mayor owes the DDA an apology for the manner in which he spoke about us and his demeanor when he did, because it didn't serve the purpose, and if he felt there was an audit necessary, he easily could have asked for it. Okay, and that's it. And thank you.
Well, I'm going to say, well, super quick. I did attend the commission meeting where they did do the audit findings, and it was nice to see the commissioners very supportive of the DDA and very apologetic that they were even put in that position. So that was very refreshing to see that they were big supporters.
Maybe they could talk about this meeting afterward. All right, moving on.
All right, Mr. Chair, we're going to be going down to...
4A.
No, it's actually 4B. 4B.
Oh, we moved to 4B?
Yeah,
We're past
we
the
moved to
Senate letter, we're past the audit, we're past the ILA.
No, that's what we're doing right now.
4B, all right. Amendment number 4, ILA, Management Operations, OSS.
This item is simply been updated to allow the city to provide the payment for this fiscal year. They're going to do that, I understand, in one payment instead of quarterly payments. No other provisions of the ILA have been edited based on this. So it's on the city agenda for tonight, on their consent agenda for approval in the form in which you have it.
So they're going to pay us in 7 days, a week?
I can't remember the exact date, but it's going to be shortly thereafter.
Yeah, it says no later than December 15th, 2025.
Okay. So that needs approval so that they know that the DDA has approved the item.
Can I get a motion to approve?
I'd like a comment.
Comment.
Well, prior to the DDA running the old school square, the average price that the city gave the team that ran it before was $1 million a year. I think the last was 900 and change. That was when money was money, before all this inflation, before the way things are now. I know there's a budget for the city. I know they have to figure things out. But we had a very slow commercial season this year in the summer, and the avenue suffered, the downtown suffered, and the DDA has plans to improve and increase the amount of service they give to the old school square in terms of performances and culture. And $700,000 this year, our budget this year was $1.2 million is what we spent. So we'll be $500,000 short. We'll have to curtail efforts everywhere. And I wanted to ask the attorney if there is anything in this amendment that says that we can come back to them for more money if we need it.
There's nothing in the amendment that says that, but there's nothing that prevents you from doing that. Departments go back to the city asking for additional revenues. The likelihood of it happening, because they have a budget, is not probably high, but there's nothing that prevents you in this from asking for it, and there's nothing that says, they're expecting that.
Do you remember the first amendment you did, the fourth? that I said may be the worst agreement I ever saw.
Well, that hasn't been taken up.
Right, I know that, but
Okay.
in the recitals, in there, it stated that the DDA asked for more and didn't get it,
Right,
and wasn't getting it, and that's not in the recitals now.
right.
So I make a motion that we put something in the recitals that says,
That was in, before you do, that was in the prior amendment, so it is on the record.
it's in, where?
The one that got approved last year, not the one that we were
Third
talking.
Amendment?
Yes, sir.
The one
That's
that
the one
they-
you had some changes to that one. That had that in there, but this is on tonight for approval.
Well, I'm hoping that the commissioners ask for more money at the meeting tonight. I would like something in this, if it's possible, if the board will agree. I'd like to make a motion that there be language added that says, we are aware that we cannot perform at the quality level that we've performed even last year. And that was in that amendment last year that said we won't be able to perform to the level of the year before. And we won't be able to perform to the level we just did, let alone improve it if we want to. So I would like something in the recitals or in the body of this that says we are taking this and we will do the best we can with what the city gives us, but we recognize, and the city should recognize, that it is
It is not enough.
insufficient for us to perform at the kind of level that gets international acclaim that we've done up till now based on this money. That's my proposal.
I wouldn't approve that, but if someone wants to make a motion, they can.
I hear you, but I think this needs to go to commission tonight. And also, it's typically it'd be like a statement of fact that you would put in here. But that's more of an opinion-based thing. But I
I'm
do
not an
hear you.
attorney.
Yeah, right. I mean, Quinn.
He is an attorney.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh,
Once attorney, he's turned to the darker
I know.
side
Yeah,
as a
the dark
broker
side.
now. So
But
watch out.
Cole, it was in the last one.
No, I think we took it out, didn't we?
No, we put it in.
Saying that we can't. That
I
we
made-
didn't-
yeah, that was in there. It was in there.
I made
Well,
it
so
put-
this adds on to the last one. I hear what you're saying, but
It's
Well,
just
I know
another
that
amendment.
Not
to the
all
last one.
commissioners are in agreement with the 700,000. If we agree to it, that eliminates their
Well, they-
conversation.
Yeah.
They haven't approved it.
Well, they have approved the 700,000. That was part of the budget
part of the budget.
that they
You're
approved.
certain?
It's approved,
I'm
but
very
it's-
certain.
I know, I've spoken to a commissioner, and
this is just.
They may not agree, but it's approved.
I
Yeah,
intend
this
to
was
bring it up
this got approved in September. The budget.
Yeah, I think we're welcome to ask for more money. Let's go spend some of this money first. Let's see where we are. And again, I'm not opposed to asking for more. They know what they're doing. They're not, we've made enough of a stink. They watch the
This
videos.
at least gets us to 700,000.
They
I'd like
know.
to make a motion that we approve this as is
Anyone
for
want to second
for
that motion?
presentation this evening.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
No.
All
Aye.
right, let's do a roll call.
Anthony Barber,
Yes.
Alan Costello,
No.
Joe Guagliardi,
Yes, but I think it should be brought up again, and we should request more.
Yeah, but
But
that's,
for the purposes of tonight, yes.
so you want to change the amendment?
No, she
Not-
said yes.
All right, no. Go ahead. No.
Brian Rosen,
I'm voting no.
You're voting no on
I'm-
passing it?
I'm voting. Well, the motion was to pass it tonight. Oh yes, I'm voting yes to pass it. I apologize. Yes. The motion is yes to pass it as is.
Cole David,
Yes.
Aaron Ollie Burton.
All right.
All right, so that passed.
Who's presenting this tonight? Are you?
No, it's on the consent agenda.
Oh, okay.
Before we go did we go to the next thing?
We're done with that one. We're on old business.
Before we go to old business, I have a question. Just humor me for a minute.
Yeah.
Quentin. Yes, I believe I want to add new business. Is that what I want to do?
I think so.
Okay.
He wasn't here in the beginning when we did the agenda approval.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it's short, but in short, I want us to have a brief discussion over a program that I want the DDA to institute for businesses or individuals that have City of Delray Beach BTRs with physical locations or looking to seek physical locations to have the DDA in some capacity, if they're already established and looking to either continue or it's kind of like a grant program, but the money would flow directly back to the city. So let me give you an example. If I want to have sidewalk seating, right, and I'm a restaurant that wants to do sidewalk seating, and I want to be able to come to the DDA and say that, hey, my restaurant on 12th Avenue, West Atlantic, is looking to do this, but the permit fee is $700 or whatever arbitrary number it is. I would like the DDA to give me a grant of $700. That money would then be paid by the DDA to the city directly. So that money is not ever leaving the city's hands. It's further supporting the initiative of the DDA, which is supporting businesses. So, and it will be on a case-by-case basis for the board to agree with or decline as people could come forth. But anything that they would do would be something for a city purpose or a city permit or a city. So that way the money's not going to you as a developer or something, but the money's going right back into the city. So it's for permit fees.
And we want it to be only for existing businesses currently, as
Existing,
a way to
so
grow
you-
the existing, not for new businesses.
Not for new businesses. So you can't be saying, I want to come into Delray and this is what I want to do and I want
You
you
already
to
have
do.
to be established.
Already need to be established
Okay.
and open and operating.
Al, do you have any idea, any thoughts?
You're saying that like for a cafe permit?
Yeah, or
As an
other stuff,
example, as a cafe permit, that's something like that, or even as much as any kind of permit. Like if you want to do a special event, and you needed the city is requiring $250 permit application for whatever it may be. This is an arbitrary example.
We have the grant program, don't we? Isn't
That grant program, and to answer your question, Cole, the grant program is a beautification grant program or something of those lines, if I'm not mistaken, and it doesn't
cover
cover these types of things. So, for example, when I spoke with members of the DDA staff about it, I said that if you want to activate a space, right, and you say, well, there's not enough activation, because one of the main gripes with the DDA over time has been there's not enough Western activation, right? So we'll say, okay, fine. We'll say for the sake of this, we agree with that. But if let's say that there's a person that has a yoga studio, right, and they want to do a yoga class at Libby Park, right? Well, how do you publicize it? What do you do? Well, I can come to I need a permit for that. You get what I'm saying? So I can come, and it's going to cost me $125 for the special event permit, if it does. And I can go to the DDA, and now instead of spending that $125 on a city permit, I can then take that $125 and boost my Facebook post to get more participants in my event.
So essentially, you just want to raise the money that the DDA has.
Yes.
Yes.
So if I want to paint my building, I should go to the DDA? So if I want
For
to
the
buy a new sign,
permit.
if I want to put a sign, so for the permit?
For the permit.
It's not applicable to like paint your, but what he's saying is any money that would already go to the city. for a
Yeah, I think
permit.
what Anthony is asking is basically to update, and we've already been looking at our grant program because we have not been using all of the money every year. And so this is a great opportunity for us to kind of talk about what we want that grant program to look like. And I think he's offering some idea of what that grant program could look like. And so I think it's a valid discussion that maybe we put it on the next board meeting to have that conversation.
Let's throw it on the agenda. I like it. I think it makes sense, and I definitely think it makes sense to revisit the grant
Yeah, I mean,
program.
the money's
For the
just
yoga
going-
thing, it would work currently, I think, but for like a cafe permit, which on West Atlantic Avenue to bring traffic out, to lively up, to bring that energy, is something that I think the DDA would support, doing. And we can't do that now based on how it's structured, so we'll have to figure out the language, because again, I don't know if it's going to go to paint the building always, but I know, but I'm saying,
yeah, the permits, not the actual work,
Right.
not the actual materials,
Right.
but you need a permit,
yeah.
and that money goes back to the
To the
city.
city. So maybe
instead of
we'll play with the language and see where it goes, but I like the idea. And again, I'm all for, finding ways to help support our businesses. That's
CRA
all.
has
Our
a,
building.
or they used to have
They used to, it doesn't anymore.
the
The
signs,
payment
but it
program.
also doesn't include permitting.
Yeah.
So
It's just materials, right?
it's materials and labor.
Yeah, and it's a certain percentage thereof, and I don't even think that exists so much anymore. I think they might have
Signage
tabled that
program.
program. Yeah.
Yes, that one may not have any.
Yeah, I
funding.
think
one
that
of
too.
them is out of funding for
Yeah.
CRA, I think.
Well, great. I
Thank
think
you.
that's a
That
good
was what
thing.
I
I think that makes a lot of sense, and I love it. Again, another reason why the DDA is here to help support our businesses and why we're still important and relevant.
Ever hear that?
Yeah, just businesses that are already existing. Exactly. And I think that's important to help be there for our businesses that are existing and help them grow and help them do things.
I mean, absolutely. If you've already put in the effort,
Bad breath.
if you've gotten yourself established, and he's like, hey, I want to further establish myself. Yeah, that's furthering the goal. That's all I got. Like new
And
business.
it helps drive income to the taxing district, which we get a piece of. So we're helping ourselves at the same time. All right. Oh, moving on to the old business, Veterans Park Improvement Recommendation Updates and Discussion.
Yeah, I'm going to have Shelley come up and talk about that since she's been very involved in this process.
So Laura and I have met with the help of a couple Palm Trail neighbors to come up with our, as you all commissioned us to undertake this project, a vision statement and what we thought we wanted to do here. And so we put this together for your viewing here, see where we're going and what our thoughts are. And what our plan is now is we're going to now reach out and try to find somebody to partner with. Who can we come across, or who can we involve that would be somewhat of an unbiased project leader, manager, to help us get this underway and get some ideas down and find out what we can do in this space. So we have a call with the UF School of Landscape Architecture this week, and we'll talk with them about opportunities that we can do, something we might be able to do with them. So that's our next steps.
Cool. So things are moving forward.
Moving forward very enthusiastically.
So does that mean like we'll when you say the conversation with the University of Florida, what are we looking to maybe get or not get from the University of Florida as far as
plans?
That's what I was thinking, but
possibly see if we can engage them to put out a couple proposals, create some projects that would result in proposals for us that we could bring forward. Here's things you could do with this space. And given that they are students that have seen projects all over the world, they're studying this, concept right now and have leaders in the field supervising them, professors, use all of that talent and resource, hopefully for free.
Let me ask you.
There's a lot of talent there, by the way. It's a great school.
Yeah, there's a lot of talent.
It is a great school.
It's a great school. Okay. Another question for you. What, if you may or may not know, do you know what it would normally cost to have a landscape architecture provided design?
No, not right offhand.
10 to 20 grand.
But it's expensive. It's
okay.
5 figures at least, I would assume. So
All
it's
right.
not
Could
a
be
cheap
more, but around
undertaking.
20 probably. 10 on the light side, 20 probably. I'm
Okay,
pulling
so-
from my rear, but
Okay.
that's probably not.
All right. If this works, if this doesn't work well, I'd be interested in looking at like a really fair scholarship to a landscape architecture student. If that would be something that DDA could even look at to make it more of a goal as opposed to help us, and where it's like, no, you can get a scholarship, for one of those classes over there or something like that.
What I thought is this would be such a great project. It could be a competition.
Yeah,
There are a
competition
lot
for
of
scholarship,
different. There are a lot of different possibilities within the school there, for them to take this project from concept to final visualization, implementation, and as a student. So that's something really unique for them to be able to do under the guidance of their professors.
Also, I don't know if you've touched or poked at, but Chris Cabezas, he sits on the Historical Preservation Board, is a local landscape architect.
Yeah, there's
and
a lot of them.
And he's also part of like a landscape architect club
Yeah.
that I've hosted events for them where they
Okay.
like might be run it through him and see if his whatever group is interested. I don't know.
Did they show you the secret handshake?
I'm not in that good. I'm not in that good,
okay.
but
All right.
I just got to spend some money at a venue. That's all I can do. I'm a sales guy.
Good work at moving quickly.
Yeah,
From
yeah.
the last
Thanks for
meeting to
making that
this.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to go to the park still and take pictures and send them to the city, I'm happy to
Oh,
volunteer
we did.
myself. Oh, you
Yeah,
did?
Laura and I
All
have
right,
done that.
cool. I'm always
so we have
available.
that.
I'm trying to get to be the most posted guy on the city.
How many requests
city
have
I
you
got a lot,
had?
dude. They're gonna like blacklist me. soon.
Your app's gonna
Hopefully
shut
not.
down.
Yeah, exactly. All right, awesome. Thank you, Jeff. You got some for us? Good
Hi
to see
there.
you, sir.
Jeff Horace, Assistant City Manager. I would strongly encourage you to perhaps have a conversation with the owner of that land before you do anything.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to be all talking. That was
There's been no discussion with the Parks and Rec director at all, so perhaps we should have one.
Yes, I agree. That would be a good, let's bring him into the conversation.
Thank you.
You'll see it listed on the
Yeah.
Just to note, on the bottom of the vision statement there, it does include a steering committee that includes the city.
Okay, cool. And again, let him know about our meeting happening on December 10th if he's available. It's a little short notice, but we'll try. Anything else on that update?
We need a motion.
No, I don't think so.
No, it's just informational.
All right, moving on down to 5B, DDA OSS program updates for November and upcoming from the DDA team.
Yes, so quickly just wanted to kind of run through what we've been doing over the last month. We're now getting into season, so things are getting very, very busy, not only within the downtown, but within Old School Square as well. We have the Shop Small campaign, which is running right now. You all know this is an American Express program that they started decades ago to promote small businesses. Small Business Saturday was last Saturday, or the Saturday after Thanksgiving, November 29th. We've always taken the opportunity to create a marketing campaign behind that day because we have so many small independently owned businesses. And this year we decided to do a Shop Small Holiday Rewards Pass that launched on November 29th. And it basically allows guests to go in and see all the participating businesses, their locations. They can check in at the retail stores, earn points, and then they redeem those points for retail gift cards. And this is just to look at the numbers behind that pass. We've had 27 retailers that have signed up to participate. We've had 520 sign-ups so far and 250 check-ins. The check-ins are really high compared to the number of sign-ups, so that's really good. That means 250 people have gone into our businesses. We saw a bunch of check-ins on November 29th on Small Business Saturday, so that was really exciting because we can actually see the results of our marketing. Economic development. It was a busy month for economic development in the downtown. I mean, as Mavis was mentioning, there are new businesses opening all the time. We recently just had 2 of our legacy businesses have anniversaries. So we have a lot of, the good news is we have a lot of new retail coming into downtown. We had a lot of restaurants over the last several months, but retail has really started to pop as well. So just in the last few weeks, we had a Ho open, Honey Bee Boutique, Liza Bird Boutique, Beach Gossip, Ascari Fine Jewelers, Jardin de Lumiere. And those are just some of the retailers that are opening on the Ave and off the Ave. New restaurants that are open. True Vegan opened. He finally opened his doors. That was great, to a lot of fanfare. Troy's Barbecue opened on West Atlantic Avenue. Congratulations, Anthony. Van Leeuwen Ice Cream, which is in Sunday Village. Beach Club is where Lionfish used to be. Cellini is where the old Costa used to be. And then Geronimo at the corner of Atlantic and First, where Cabana El Rey used to be, is very, very close to opening. They're now putting out calls for hiring.
Is Sunday Village, is part of it opened, or is some of it?
So technically Sunday Village is open. You've got some of the office space has already gone in, but right now what's happening with all the restaurants are doing their build out. So even though it is technically open, a lot of the places within Sunday Village are not open yet.
Get your ice cream and walk around and enjoy it while it's all still clean.
I saw people in there last night.
I have a question about Sunday Village. Is it treated more like a individual spaces, or is there a uniform open close time, like I don't want to use that word. Spaces.
I think it's individual because you have a lot of restaurants. You have an ice cream shop, and it'll be all restaurant and retail.
Not a mall.
Not a mall.
Good.
Or open air mall,
Yeah. And then this past month, we also celebrated The Office, which celebrated 16 years in downtown, and Deck 84 celebrated its 15th anniversary party. And we were able to be there for both of those and present them with their legacy business plaques. Once you hit 15 years in downtown Delray, you're considered one of our legacy businesses. And Jeff, I don't know, did you have any thing you wanted to mention about economic development or any updates on economic development? Planning and zoning.
All right.
It's the long walk up to the mic. Need to hear my shoes squeak. Jeff Horace, Assistant City Manager. I did want to share with you some information. Laura had asked about a couple businesses, and I know the email did not move it forward to her, but I wanted to share that with you so you all have that. I got that all printed. There's two different, if you would pass those around there. But just so you have that, as well as you all may know that the city is looking to do some additional economic development activities. The commission has had a workshop on it. We certainly included the DDA, the chamber, the CRA, as well as the BDB in those discussions. And we're going to move into a time of positioning the city to do more with economic development and attracting new businesses. This commission has kind of indicated they'd like to look at some financial services businesses, particularly some smaller ones that might fit into our downtown fabric as well as elsewhere in the city. So we'll be working on those programs as we move forward, and certainly we'll keep Laura in the know on those, as well as all our partners as we move forward. Again, what was handed to you, just some information on some of the approval applications that have come in the last month or so. We are committed to making sure that the DDA has this information on a regular basis, and we'll forward in any list of appealable information. And those are things that have gone to boards and then go to the commission in case the commission wants to appeal the board decision. So you'll have that information on a regular basis.
All right, great. Thank you. I saw Yoga Joint on this too. I don't know, Suzanne.
Yeah, Yoga Joint's not open quite yet.
Okay.
But they are getting there.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I know we have a good health and wellness following.
A lot of fitness studios, a lot of wellness, a lot of spas are opening in the downtown. So, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff, for the information. Appreciate it. This is good stuff.
And as you all know, we had our 100-foot Christmas tree lighting this past week, or last week. That is the City Parks and Rec event. But the DDA, over the last several years, has activated the 300 and 400 block, so we can extend that footprint of the Yuletide Festival. And so we had a live band, light up teeter-totters in the street, local business vendors, and live mural art. It was a really exciting, fun event again this year. And we're excited to say that our 100-foot tree lighting post went viral. We had 17.7 million views, and that's just as of today. It's incredible. We had 451,000 likes, comments, shares. And, this just goes to show you, how important it is to continue to market the downtown, right? Because it's this kind of stuff that gets people here. It's like, oh, did you see they have this cool Christmas tree? I mean, these are people that would never have seen our stuff, right? And all of a sudden they're hearing about downtown Delray and our Christmas tree and all of the cool things that are happening.
Not for nothing. This tree is... This is mild from what I don't. This is like, this doesn't register how many times it came to me in a text message about the half lit tree, right?
Right.
But what I found most interesting was the city comparisons that I began to hear all up and down, and how Delray, even with only partially lit tree, still has the best tree.
Yeah, and we made light of that in the caption, just kind of saying, if you can read the caption here, it says, sure, most of the lights came on and the next are just fashionably late. But who needs every bulb when the holiday spirit is already shining bright? Thanks for celebrating with us, perfectly imperfect and full of cheer in downtown Delray Beach. So we kind of made fun of it because, you know, our big thing is, and I will shout out to Emily, who was like, at the tree lighting, taking the video, writing the caption literally as it was happening. And then also, I don't know if you guys were down there that night, but the internet broke. I mean, you could not get a call through. You could not post anything for like probably a good hour after the tree lighting. But she was able to get this up almost immediately. And that's what I've always said about these big events, that you need to get them up immediately because you need to be first, right? And so she kind of made a gut check decision. We were both sitting there. We're like, just post it. Just make it a really funny caption. And that's what we did. And so it turned out to be really good. And we got a lot of attention because of it.
Yeah. Do we have the numbers on how many people were there yet or not yet?
We don't. We have to pull the placer numbers. We haven't had a chance. We've been very busy. But yeah, we'll get those placer numbers for you guys next. I'll have them in the next couple of days. And that just goes to show you some of the DDA marketing highlights, which was a big social media win again this month. We had almost 2 million impressions just alone in the month of November, which is unbelievable that we're getting those amount of views on what's happening in downtown.
All we do is win, win, win. Honestly, like last month you killed it. This month you killed it. I mean, it's like it's really like. So
well,
impressive.
I will tell you, you know, I always go with the thinking what you focus on grows. And, you know, Emily is killing it. She is, you know, she's pushing out a ton of content, and she is like the Energizer Bunny, just always out there, you know, across downtown, getting all the content and making sure that it, you know, it has the voice of downtown Delray and puts us in a positive light. So
just again, I just want to reiterate again, the staff, all of our staff, you guys really, and with all the other things going on, and I know I cut Maruska off, and I just don't want to hear the pain. I know it's pain. But you guys are doing a great job. You
Killing
really
it.
I just want
Awesome.
to reiterate it. Seriously.
Super awesome.
Like
best
you.
job ever.
Okay, so these are a look at some of just the email blasts. Once again, we're sending out more than
50% open rate. I mean, that's unheard of.
Yeah, it's unheard of. I mean, 46% open rate. We send out more than 100,000 emails every month. 162,000 followers. You know, we really do. I mean, it's. You know, the beauty of this marketing is technically it's free, right? And so if you can lean into your organic marketing, your emails, your social media, your website, even though it takes time, and the time, you know, time is money, but these are free platforms that we're able to, you know, really get the word out there. Public relations also killing it, you know, just we're always in the news. Our website is strong. We are, you know, I told you all last month we would be launching our new website before Thanksgiving, but we have been derailed. And so the new date is mid-December, and I'm hoping that is able to happen. We are working fast and furiously on it, and it's going to be really a game changer for our downtown.
It said 46,000 new followers. Was that over the last month?
No, 46,000 active users.
Got it.
Yeah. Shelley?
All right. Well, the visitor center also saw huge numbers of people. As you can see, we were up 30% from last year, 45% over October. So we are really seeing a lot of guests downtown. Huge numbers, just our locals love coming in. Boy, do they show up first of the month looking for all their reading material and checking out what's going on. Also, our Canadian and European visitors are back, as well as our drive from around Florida. Just some other information for you. We have just recently participated in the Valencia Falls Community Fair this past Sunday, so we were a booth there letting that community know about what's going on downtown. So that was out west. We were out west telling them to come downtown. We also have a volunteer appreciation luncheon this Friday, and we hope you'll attend. It's at noon in the Vintage Gym. Give you an idea, we had, I don't know if you recognize, we have over 2,500 hours of volunteer service just in the visitor center. from 1 year. So 2,500 hours, and that's not including our museum.
Yeah, I was going to say
docents,
Mariska's got a ton of
our
hours
museum
over there as
docents,
well.
our event volunteers, and everybody else that volunteers as well.
What's the
So,
value of 4,000 volunteer hours, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, like our volunteers staff the front desk, so that means our staff doesn't have to be there. So our volunteers are up front.
Yeah, and I'm just saying there's a real value to that we bring. That's like, I'd like to think that the city gets a very good return, and our residents and our downtown, everyone that pays into our tax gets a very good return on what the DDA brings to the table.
Thanks.
Thank you, Shelley. All right, now looking at Old School Square, which is a whole other amazingness that's happening. And Mariska, do you want to come up or you don't have to come up, you can
I'm
stay
gonna stay right here.
there.
I got a spot at the table.
That's right.
Mariska Simon.
Yeah, right. Just for today. I wouldn't take that on at all. We had a very busy November. We had our attendance was 1,238, so we're neck and neck with the visitor center. It's been up. Donations were at $2,000 in donations.
Awesome.
And then online, which is Square donations that we take at our register, $220. We had museum store sales are $28.26, which has been really good. And now people are shopping for the holidays, so that's been great. And then we had Old School Square Foundation donations of $2,500. I'll explain a little bit more about that later. So for First Friday Art Walk, if you can go back one.
Back, sorry.
Yeah. First Friday Art Walk, we had 215 people. We had artists painting out front because we've been asked to bring the art outside, Al. So we've been doing that as much as we possibly can. We had a whole group of artists painting outside, and this one artist on the left created a piece that was an interactive piece. So guests got to come up and make their mark on the piece, and then she's turned it now into a final piece that is of the museum. The piece is inside the museum, and she's going to be doing a silent auction for it, and a percentage of that sale will go to the museum. So this is a wonderful thing. It's community engagement, and then we have it in the museum. Folks can bid on it, and we make a little money. The artist makes money. It's a wonderful win-win all the way around.
Was Mr. Kent right? Did the people just flow from the street?
We do. We have done a lot of things outside for First Friday Art Walk over the years. It isn't always easy to do it. It rains. We have, issues. But when we can, we definitely want to be continuing this. And it would be wonderful to eventually do some sculptures out there, but we have this one piece of sculpture that we can't move that is really in our way, so we've got to really get on that and figure that out. That'll help. It'll help change things. But we also had music inside. This past Art Walk, we had the holiday carolers were there, and we did the same music inside, artist outside. It was a very successful night as well. Then we had From Primitive to Surreal by Gustavo Novoa, who's a Chilean-born artist. He is celebrated worldwide. He has incredible artwork. We had about 45 pieces. We did a collaboration with Finley Galleries of Palm Beach. They've been representing him for 50 years, 50. So it was pretty amazing to have this level of artwork in the museum. Many people have commented in the last several weeks about the level of art that we have in the museum and how there's something for everyone. It isn't just a one-topic building. We have art, women art. We have incredible international artists there. We have Dorothy Gillespie work. And we've had a lot of comments, more than usual. So we're on the right path. We're doing good things. We're doing the right thing, which is really fun.
Who's doing all that work?
No one. We're looking for people to do the work. I'm looking to pass it off. Thanks. We have a great staff. We really do. And then we have this lovely surprise thing that happened. Coco Goff received a work of art that Harold Caudio created during our pop culture exhibition. And we had a talk where Harold presented it to her family because she wasn't available, but now that she was in town, we were able to have her in the museum. It was an invite only, no public. We couldn't invite anyone, otherwise we would have invited all of you. but it was very small, and the people that are photographed are the ones that were there. He also created a piece for Miss Odom because he fell in love with her and her spirit and how she had taught in that building. So he created a piece for her too, and then the family was fighting over it already, who's getting it in the will. So I suggested we create prints, and then everybody could get one. So that's what's happening.
It was her photo from when she was at.
When she was a teacher. Yeah.
No, it was her high school graduation photo.
Wow.
From
That was
when
pretty
she
amazing.
was, she was she was the first black student to integrate the schools, and that was her high school photo that he turned into a piece of art. It was really beautiful.
It was a good historical situation for us, and to have Coco in the museum, she'd never been in there before, and she grew up in Delray, so that was a big moment for her and for us as well. Then we had a wonderful luncheon. It was called Breaking the Canvas Ceiling. It was actually proposed to us by Lansing Hutchin Wealth Management. Jack Lansing is photographed in it's the tallest one in the photograph. I met him through the nonprofit council at the chamber, and he wanted to help the museum and help bring people into the museum. So every quarter he does a women's luncheon about women empowerment, and he asked if we would host it inside the museum. He paid for it, and also gave us a donation for the Old School Square Foundation. And then Dorothy Gillespie Foundation gave us a $500 donation too for the foundation, which was fantastic. So Gary was one of the speakers. We had an artist speak. It was just a beautifully executed luncheon, and it was lovely to have something like that in the museum. So that also gives us an opportunity to show those photos and offer others an opportunity to have events in the museum. And we're still working on the kids' workshops. Those applications are now live, and we'll be looking to start hosting them January, February, and March. So that's another way for us to engage the community inside the museum. And in January of 26, we have The Art of Her that's going to be opening on the 23rd. It's an all-women's exhibition celebrating women in the arts, women in general. And we also are working on Art on the Square Fine Art Show. Our applications are live, so we're going to be looking to our partners to help us call to artists. And then I'm not concerned at all about people coming to the event because we have such incredible marketing that we don't even have to focus. We just have to put it out there and people come, which is fantastic. So our challenge now is just going to be get the call to artists going.
What's that part what's that piece you can't move?
It's a large sculpture that was donated by an artist to the Old School Square organization, and it was when they were making an effort to save the square, and they had to save the square art. So it was brought in. It's this large, rusting-in-place sculpture that just is not something that's sustainable. People run into it. It has these huge wings that people catch their clothes on when they walk by it. It's right on the front plaza of the museum. And the problem is the old organization did not take it with them. We cannot move it. There's no place to move it. The city really doesn't want to move it anywhere. So we're kind of stuck with it. And it's impeding our ability to do any sort of art activations out there because it's taking up a huge spot. So if we wanted to do sculptures or something, it's in the way. It doesn't really work with.
And have we reached out to the
Jeff,
old organization to see if they want the piece?
Hey, can we donate it to someone else?
Would love to do all those things. Whatever we do is going to cost us money, so that has to be taken into consideration.
Have we asked them if they wanted it, or have we not gotten it?
The old organization, I have not contacted them directly.
I'll try to follow up just to see if we can. They may want it, and just something.
Would you like it?
No, I just want to see if I can
I'm
help.
happy to bring it over.
Where's Jeff? He can move it.
Which Jeff?
It says the city manager.
Yeah, but they don't know where to put it.
Yeah.
In the ocean.
It could be an artificial reef. I like it.
Yeah, add it to the reef balls. Well, I'll ask around. See.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
See whatever we can do to help.
I'll take any help I can get on that topic. Thank you.
You got it.
Thanks, Mariska.
Yes.
When does the Novoa exhibit end?
It ends mid-January because we only could get the pieces from Findlay until mid-January. Then they want them back.
I spent so much time talking to Gillespie, I forgot to see that room. The Gillespie video.
Yes.
I wasn't able to get there, so Mavis said you have a link?
Yeah, I have a link. I'll share that link with all of you.
Will you send it, please?
Yeah, it's a 90-minute film documentary. We showed it in the museum on the 10th or the 4th, and it was very well attended. We have about 45 people there, and just could hear a pin drop in the room. Everybody was so
amazing?
quiet. It was very amazing. She was an amazing person.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Mariska.
Thank you, Maruska.
Now, just really quickly, just going through the numbers for Old School Square, you can see the email blasts. I don't think that's right. The average open rate, 17%. Is it, Emily? Huh. Yeah. We have to look at those numbers, make sure that's accurate. And then your social media numbers, you can take a look at, kind of how we are looking at Old School Square. Public relations, once again, always in the news for Old School Square as well, and our website. And then coming up for the two big events, the ticketed events that we are, really moving into. This one is next week, the Charlie Brown Christmas Tour with Patrick Lamb. It is Wednesday, December 17th. Tickets are now on sale. So if you, it's more of a, it looks like a children's event, but it really is he's a saxophonist, a world award-winning saxophonist. So it's really a holiday concert for the whole family. It's not necessarily a kids program, though they are playing the Charlie Brown Christmas on the big screen in the background, but it really is the music. It's a holiday concert. And then Dirty Dancing Live, this is sort of a similar thing where they're going to be playing the music behind it and then dancing and singing in front of the movie. And so it really brings the movie to life. And that's happening in March. That's our other big event. And then coming up in downtown, we have another Sounds of the Set happening next week on December 11th. No, this week. Is that this week? Yeah, that's this week. I'm sorry. So Sounds of the Set is this week on December 11th, and that's the same night as the Twilight Tree Night Market that the city is putting on. That's a new thing that they're doing during the holidays this year. The Boat Parade is this weekend. The Holiday Parade is this Saturday. And then Charlie Brown Christmas Concert is next week. And that's just in the next, few days. So there is a lot happening, not only on the campus, but in the downtown. Any questions?
I don't have a question, but I just want to say I like the implementation of the new brands or the.
Oh yeah, it looks great, right? Yeah. So you'll see it on the the reports that you're getting. You'll see it on all of the graphics. So we just got the brand guide finished. So not only is there the logo, which is the main thing, right? But the brand guide really tells you how to implement it, what voice you're going to use, what photos really go along with it, what patterns go along with it. So we just got the brand guide this past week. We'll be sharing that with the city as well.
Awesome. Again, just doing a lot of work. You guys crushing it here. Let's see. Moving on.
And Brian, I think you're handling this, the downtown parking discussion.
All right, yeah, I'll just touch base on that. I know I'm working to try to get some numbers just from Joe Josman over at parking to have a monthly update on stuff. I know
we had reached out, we just haven't gotten anything quite yet. Yeah.
In the near future, I didn't get my stuff on that. The one thing I will mention on parking is that, and it was brought up on our last meeting in public comment, I'm just following up on it, was signage and parking signage. There was an ordinance that was just passed, I want to say it was in August, regarding the signage. I'm just looking at the dates in here. We have it here. But I know that, and I'm following up, I've got to call in with Ms. Pryor to just follow up with her, because I don't think any of the parking signs have been updated. I don't know if the city has communicated with the property owners and or the businesses that have the signs that are managing the parking. But just want to make sure that we follow up and...
You're talking about private parking lots?
Yes, private parking lots. There's a city ordinance, and I don't necessarily think it's being enforced yet, or I don't even know if it's been, what the education is around it. But it's just something I want to help, at least for our DDA area, because that's where everyone's parking downtown, make sure that we've got the right, working with the businesses to have the right signage.
Basically
up.
to show the pricing, right?
Yeah, it's got to show the pricing. It's got to be a certain color, a certain font. You got to have someone that you can call if there's an issue. There's signs that have specific information required. And again, I just want to make sure we're working with the property owners and the businesses managing it to know that this ordinance changed, because anyone I talk to doesn't know.
Are we? Usually that's the first thing I hear, is what you are doing to implement and make sure that everybody knows.
Well, this apparently just happened about the new ordinance that the rates must be posted.
18th of February, 2025.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, we're not doing anything marketing wise to talk about the signs, but I mean, certainly we can. It's just.
So
It's just information. Working with the city to make sure that everyone's sharing the same information.
Yeah, if you remember, Al, one of the comments was, does a private lot have to have the certain signage? And the answer is yes.
Right.
So it's something for the private property lot owners to comply with. So it wouldn't be something necessarily the DDA would have taken the lead on. So I don't want to make it seem
downtown.
No, not. Well, it's the private property that has to put the sign up.
So you're saying marketing to the public to say that
what I want to do is I want to work with the property owners that have BTRs and the businesses that have BTRs.
But that's a code enforcement issue as well. Not that the DDA wouldn't be involved, but we wouldn't necessarily be the primary.
I want to get ahead of it with code enforcement before there's an issue, because it changed in February, and again, many of the businesses, both the parking management business as well as the property owners, aren't aware. So I don't know. Again, maybe it's the city's responsibility to make everyone aware of the new ordinance, but as the DDA working with these businesses and these property owners, we'd rather be.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be happy to support any kind of marketing that the city needs help with, as far as getting the word out to the property owners. But it's just not something that's been on our radar, honestly.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, maybe it's something that we could work on. I'm doing it myself, wearing my DDA hat. So Yeah, you brought it up last time, so I'm gonna, as the chair, just invite him up. It is relevant. Keep it short, please.
I think I have some information, because I wrote to Laura. I'm Bruce Leash, I'm president of the Meridian Del Rey. I wrote to Laura asking what the situation was. Actually, she wrote to me just saying thank you for speaking at the last meeting. So this is what she wrote, and she has followed it up. That's why I wanted to just report.
Oh, cool.
She said, "Thank you much for speaking at the DDA meeting last week. I wanted to follow up with you regarding the private parking lots. Please see the email below from our attorney with the information from the city attorney." And she says, "Morning, Laura. I followed up with Lynn on the private parking lot issue discussed at the meeting. A private parking lot has to display the cost for the parking or a sign pursuant to the ordinance. She advised that if a citizen or anyone notices they are not posted, that they should reach out to code enforcement, as it would be a code enforcement matter."
Yeah. So I just want to be proactive with my local businesses and property owners, just to make sure they're aware of the changes and tell their vendors or themselves to handle the parking signs, so that code enforcement doesn't become an issue. I just think that's important, parking downtown DDA stuff. So that's all I got is really on that, subject, and I'll leave it at that. We'll keep parking kind of short today. But in general, again, I'll get the information on the app, see what the utility, using, how much is being used and what hours and how much is available. And it's good for us to always look and track. And the more we see it, the more we'll understand it. Yeah. So, all right. That's what I got for parking. Moving on down, unless anyone else has anything to say about parking.
I got booted this past week.
Where'd you get booted at? All right, so again, I hate the booting, just as to speak in general. I think that is like the worst practice possible. I don't know, cities watching, if they're able to change that practice in the city regulations.
Where'd you get booted?
It's actually funny enough, I got booted in the building that I pay taxes to be in. We had given a list of names to the building, starting with my husband and I, because we're the owners of the business, along with other people. And somehow it got lost in translation, and the people at the building who were responsible for registering the vehicles I guess didn't register them. Everyone got booted this morning next to my car. The car was booted. So they're booting people like crazy. The only problem is my boot happened after dinner on a Friday night when I went to one of the restaurants in Delray. And when I came back, they couldn't tell me. For the message at the boot company says, which I found very interesting, if you haven't, it's essentially, if you haven't paid, don't waste your time, pay. And then, if you call back to try to find out when the boot people are going to come to take your boot off, we're going to block your phone number.
Unreal.
And then if you manage to get a person on the phone and you raise your voice to the person on the phone because you're irritated, we will disconnect the call and block your phone number. So that there's nothing you can do. So I had no idea if I would sit there till 5:30 in the morning. So.
Do you know which? Was it Asta Parking? Do you know what group it was?
Yeah, what building?
You got to follow up and let me know. I'm just curious to
follow
know
up,
because that's just horrible practices.
Yeah, so.
And that gives everyone a bad situation in downtown.
Yeah.
With these.
So
bad
you're
practices.
what you said earlier. It's not the city that's booting the cars. It's the private
The
lots.
city doesn't boot.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I thought that.
It
Unless
wasn't,
you're, like,
it's
in
a
the
private
street.
lot.
Yeah, of course. If there's.
And the
but
company isn't a Delray company that they use either. It's a Boca Raton company.
I thought that's what you meant. So I just want to make sure that's
Yeah,
clear.
it wasn't
that you
clear.
No,
Yeah.
the City of Delray does not boot, and
Okay.
a number of other parking management companies do not boot. I only know of one that boots. It's Asta, but again, that's.
Jeff, you should have been up here and said that. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah. Again, the city does not boot cars in Delray Beach, please. Like, if you get booted, it's not the city. Everyone take note. Because the city gets a ton of calls on it, and again, it creates a bunch of headaches, and you get something like that.
Yeah,
you
well,
get
it's
those
kind of like the
messages
same
on
with the
your phone.
private lots, right? City gets a
Yeah.
bunch of calls about private lots. We get a bunch of calls about the private lots.
What's
but
good,
it's-
the new signs have to have a phone number and an email to contact on the sign of the private lots if you have an issue. Again. But hopefully they update that and we'll work to make that happen. Maybe we can look at what's it called? The name of the program that shows all the properties and owners? No, the one we have.
Ginkgo?
Ginkgo, because Ginkgo maybe has the lots. The parking lots might be on there.
Yeah, there are some of the lots that are on there, but it's sporadic.
Yeah, and again, maybe it's something in the future as we develop it. We show all the private lots are marked a certain way, or properties that have private lots that are open, just so we can. Again, it's just a database.
That I think would be extremely helpful because I know a lot of people that come. We just had a lot of family in town. We had 24 people for Thanksgiving. People don't know where to go. So if there's the garages, but there's no sort of
The City Delray Beach app has all the free parking spaces everywhere in the city.
But I think a lot of people that are visitors that don't live here and aren't snowbirds and so forth are looking for signage like, go down this street and you'll find a lot down there. So I think there's something to think about there.
Yeah.
Cool. I love parking, by the way. Just always gets me going. Sorry, everyone. All right, moving on. Past
It's
parking.
provocative. We know.
It's very controversial.
DDA monthly financials.
Yeah, I guess I'm leading this. So this is a look at the DDA. These are September numbers. And let's see, DDA revenues and income. You can see our total revenue in September was at 1.9 million. 34,463. Our expenses were at 1.7 million, 69,135. And as far as the highlights, the ad valorem tax revenue increase over forecasted. Miscellaneous revenue was vendor fees from art and jazz. And some of the expense highlights: marketing expenses for Restaurant Month program, advertising for TV and commercial production, creative design and digital advertising, art and jazz promotions, Davis Cup. Placemaking expenses were related to the ambassadors and the litter abatement fees. Operations related to office admin and legal fees are over forecasted. Obviously because of all the stuff that's been going down. Police camera project funding still unused for the fiscal year, working with the team on the project timeline for fiscal year 25-26. And I will just mention this because I think it is important to mention, going back to what we were talking about earlier with the audits that we just recently underwent, and kind of the talk about what the DDA is doing. And if you all remember back in like May, when we started our budget planning for this fiscal year, part of that planning was a systems audit and a data audit. This was already on our radar. This was something we knew that we needed to tackle and get updated. We have already been working on that. So to say that this was something that was happening because of the audit, it was something that was already kind of in the works, and we already knew that we needed to really look at these systems. So.
All right. Does anyone have any questions on the financials?
Motion.
And we do need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve financials. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Opposed?
Any opposed? Hearing none, it passed unanimously.
Great job. Great job.
All right, moving on down the list. Comments from our DDA attorney, Quentin.
All right.
Anything
Thank
you'd
you.
like to
Thank you,
let
Mr.
us know
Chair.
about?
I have a couple comments, more based on things that are happening. I believe Laura sent you all copies or some information about some bills pending up in Tallahassee related to the ad valorem tax, where the governor and the legislature are considering certain bills that would eliminate certain aspects of the ad valorem tax. There's a number of bills at this point in time, so what is to be passed or not passed is still up in the air. I know this issue has created a lot of interest throughout the state, so it's being heavily reviewed and lobbied, etc., up in Tallahassee. So we'll get some more information. Probably the city will get it before we get it, but I know the information will be coming out of Tallahassee when the session starts. But they're obviously already meeting in certain committees, so this issue is going to be ongoing and going to be very contentious in 2026. The other couple bills we're watching, just some internal bills related to certain policies on public records and things like that I've shared with Liliana, who's our records custodian. So there's a number of things that we're keeping our eye out on in Tallahassee that may affect the operation. So that's the end of my comments, Mr. Chair.
All right. Well, appreciate that. Mariska Simon, are you good? All right.
I do want to just say a couple things on
Go ahead.
behalf of Laura regarding
Please.
a couple of meetings that are upcoming that she wanted you all to know about if you wanted to attend any of the meetings. The Beach Property Owners Association meeting is on December 16th, which is next Thursday, I believe, next Tuesday. And she just wanted you all to know about that. Do you know what time it is,
Time
Shelby?
and please.
5:30 is the social hour, and then it starts after that.
And where's that happening?
6 o'clock.
Opal Grand.
Oh, Opal. That makes sense.
Yeah, so just put that on your calendar if you guys would like to
you say that
attend.
again? I'm sorry.
Opal
December
Grand,
16th, 5:30, 6 o'clock at the Opal Grand, the Beach Property Owners Association meeting.
I like that they have drinks before the meeting.
I
that used to be
don't know
like,
if that's
I'm
a
trying to
good
remember
thing or a bad
the Pineapple
thing.
Grove District, Arts District used to have the little happy hour.
And then one other meeting she wanted me to let you all know about was the joint workshop between the DDA and the city on the downtown beautification. She had said, I guess an earlier note went out that said it was on the 21st. It's actually on the 22nd, January 22nd, 2026, from 3 to 6 p.m. I don't have the location yet, but I just wanted to make sure you all had the date. It is January 22nd for that joint workshop between the DDA and the city on the beautification of downtown.
3 to 6 p.m.
3 to 6.
I have a question. For that participation that we're doing, do we have an official role? Do we have any kind of voice, or is it just that we're...
Well, I mean, if you're having a joint workshop with the city, I think you definitely have a voice. But as far as like sitting on the committee, I honestly, Laura knows more about that than I do. So I may maybe just chat with her when she gets back about that specific.
So 3 to 6 p.m.
3 to 6 p.m.
And where is it going to be?
We don't know yet. Yeah, I mean, she knows, but she couldn't remember when she was talking to me, so.
Okay.
So she'll send it out to you.
Yeah.
3 to 6?
3 to 6 on
3
January
to 6 on
22nd.
January 22nd.
3 to 6.
She thought it was at the library, but she couldn't confirm, so.
Okay. Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you. Moving on down. The meeting, downtown beautification, board comments. I'm going to start over here with you, Mr. Barber.
Cool. Glad to be here for such another exciting meeting. A couple things, just in general. It's going to seem like you're going to say, well, with the noise ordinances, I want us all to just make sure that we're aware of the inconsistencies of areas of town, in a sense, to make sure that whatever we come up with is as close to consistent and fair for all of those that pay the same millage rate. And want to reiterate the grant program that I spoke about earlier, just that it would be something that we would use to, again, return city. It's just putting the city's money back in a circle, in a sense. And either that be a waiver. I doubt that the city would be looking for a waiver program, but it would be looking the same kind of way, just to benefit things that had to do with the city. And also, above all else, in this meeting, I want to thank the DDA and its marketing efforts for really doing my job for me. I was in the weeds, like heavy, with a great influx of business at Grooves, which is very welcome. And then not all of a sudden, but opening the doors of Troy's. And I realized that as bad as I don't want to, I'm going to have to do a lot more delegating of the posting and the sharing and the commenting, and it's another
Never
job.
Stop. It's fun at first, and then you're like, wait.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks it's so easy.
It's not easy. And when I was looking up there at the graphic, I took a picture of it, and it really is very important, because I looked back this morning. I was like, man, Troy's had a pretty good weekend. I was like, all right, that's fair. And I was like, what'd you do? I was like, you were there. You were working with. You didn't put one post up. You didn't say, hey, come get it. You didn't do. But the DDA told that story for me, and I think that is the important. Well, not the important, but one of a major stressor that people need to kind of figure out is that, well, it's an old it's an antiquated mindset to think that marketing doesn't matter, and you can't see it tangibly. That's a direct impact. People showed up in golf cart on
My
golf
friends
carts.
are calling me, telling me that head to Troy's is opening.
Yeah.
I was getting calls from people that were going over there myself.
When people try to devalue the work of the DDA and say, well, all they're doing, or all as to minimize, well, all they do is, and it's disheartening.
They do all.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and you hear, well, all they're doing is, and all they're doing, and all they're doing, and it's like, yeah, but it's a poor frog that doesn't praise his own pond. Is what my grandmother used to say a long time ago. It's a poor frog that don't praise his own pond. And with that being said, I'm gonna close up my comments, but just thank you again for that marketing effort, and thank you so much for coming, taking pictures. My son this is now his first job. He's there working the counter the same way I did when I was with my dad. And I told him, I said, when I started, I was in the 6th grade. So we were in the 4th grade. So I said, if you can figure this out, man, you'd be way better than me. You well on your way. So I just want to thank you all again for that. The business was greatly impacted by it. I chose not to do a huge grand opening and all of that kind of stuff just for the effort. So I felt like Troy's has name recognition where it can open the doors, and you wanted the ribs, and they did, and they do. So, and that's why I was late today, you lose track of time when things are moving fast like that. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much, and definitely happy to join the other spaces that we have there. I'm going to be thanking you again soon, hopefully probably about another month for another post for another business. Thank you.
Wow. To make sure, Suzanne and
Emily.
I'm sorry, Emily, yeah. I keep saying Alex. I apologize, Emily. They're the ones that are magic with the social media. It's not an accident. It's amazing. And if your kid does great, you can send him over and he can make some cheesesteaks over at Big House.
Yeah, and can I just say, it's not just Suzanne and Emily, it's Maruska, it's Mavis, it's Shelly. Everyone's taking pictures. Everyone's keeping everyone updated on what's opening. I mean, because it's like a moving target,
now,
right?
right now.
Yeah,
Like,
and
you
so
know.
it's not just one or two of us. It's like all of us that are like keeping the eyeballs out and making sure that we all know what's happening. So.
Am I in trouble for not?
No, I'm sorry. I
Okay.
just wanted to make sure that you knew it was like a whole.
I'm
it's all
sorry,
of us.
guys. It's everybody. I didn't mean that. Yeah. I have nowhere to hide right now, and okay.
And if you see anything, send pictures.
Right.
So, the noise ordinance. When I walk up and down the street, if there's music at Johnny Brown's, if there's music at the Tin Roof, it's like pleasant. But the noise on the avenue, it's like the cars and the motorcycles, and that seems to me to be the most important thing. I get the feeling after everybody talking that restaurants are going to have cops outside with meters, and meanwhile the motorcycle's going to drive down past my store, and we're going to have to wait till they pass before we can even talk during eating a sandwich. And yet the local businesses are the ones that are going to be cited, not the external people. I somehow feel that we need to be careful not to abuse the system. I mean, at this moment around the city, tomorrow morning, there's going to be a bunch of people that get their hoses out and wash their cars, and every one of them is breaking the water rules about the sewers, and none of them are going to get cited, but every week there's people, businesses on the avenue, paying taxes, paying whatever, and they're going to get huge fines for the same thing that other people are doing. I'm afraid that the same thing's going to happen with the noise ordinance. I hope we're really smart about that. And I hope that things go well in Tallahassee today. I hope that the Senate recognizes that doing a third audit on the DDA for the same time period seems excessive. And the results that we just got last week are sufficient. At least I hope that's the case. That's it for me.
I love your idea. I think it's a great idea, and if it comes before us, I'll vote for it because I think it makes sense. I think it'll make the city happy, and I also think it helps promote you guys, and I think that's wonderful. I think your idea about possibly capping with the sound where it doesn't become an issue, that's probably a good idea, although I love loud music and I don't mind loud places at all. It's one of the things that make Delray super fun. I am one of those people who blast music in my own backyard, so guilty. And I do also hope that things go very well in Tallahassee. I think that we have an amazing city. I think we have an incredible organization here that really has put their stamp all over the city and created all kinds of reasons to come here, in addition to making sure that it operates beautifully within their realm of responsibilities. And it would be wonderful if all of this could come to an end and we can continue in a much smoother, much better fashion all together as a team.
Teams, I like that. Let's work
As a
together.
You want me to go?
Yeah, you can jump in.
Just quickly to piggyback off what Al said, I think that's a solid point, is the fact that the cars and motorcycles are the issue and live music is not an issue. That's part of living downtown, I think. That's really all I have. I think the motorcycles, again, and cars are what we should be focusing on, not live music. Yeah.
Aaron, anything finished?
Nope, just glad to be here.
Well, we're glad you're here too. I'll just say, noise ordinance, sensitive to it, sensitive to my businesses downtown. I always thought the 100-foot rule kind of made sense because that's like, if you're 100 feet away, you shouldn't really be hearing it as much. If you're standing right in front of the business and it's downtown, that's where, 65 decibels is like a whisper. 75 is like talking, 70. And it's like when you're making it like 75 is the max, that's like a loud. It's just vibrant downtowns have a noise. Dead downtowns have a noise. You got to, that's why it's a different decibel level, like right in the downtown versus outside the downtown. And even in some of these businesses, when we did the sound walk, while maybe some of the businesses had their stuff turned down, even when the businesses were closed, it was ringing 68 decibels, 70 decibels when nothing was open there, without people talking, without, noise. And also, it's going to be massaged. We just got to watch out. I just look again. I did the noise walk, so I know when they say what 70 is. And again, I had a noise meter. We always measured our noise at our business when I was operating one, and something I'm sensitive to. But it's downtown, and we'll figure it out. And it is definitely something I think enforcement's going to step up on.
Yeah, and I think it's important to, if you all have strong opinions about it, to go to the city commission meeting, speak in public comments, let them know your, your concerns. Yes.
Oh, because I've only been in meetings really
tonight.
Really, yeah.
It's tonight.
All right, cool. Yeah, so that'd be good. All right, I'll try to see if I can make it.
But
normally it's on a Tuesday. It's a Monday. Is it a workshop?
I'm not sure what it is, but there's a meeting tonight.
Yeah, they did it last Monday. They did because of the tree lighting on Tuesday, and then I don't know why they chose.
Usually there's fewer meetings in December because of the holidays, so maybe that's why it got changed. I don't know.
All right.
I didn't make that point before because I don't think I had an opportunity to, or I didn't take the opportunity to talk, but I think that that's extremely important where they're gauging the sound from. Because if you're standing next to Johnny Brown's on the sidewalk, or you're at Deck 84 and you're by the water line, where the boats are coming by, and you're listening to the music from there, or you're listening to the music from right here, you're going to get a very inaccurate, very big discrepancy between the readings, and it's not real.
And also, I will just mention that, it does say that, in the things that are permitted, it says like humans talking and stuff. Mm-hmm. When you put like 200 people together in a venue or 150 people, it gets loud. It just naturally, like you could turn off all the music and it'll read close to 75.
It's also, I would imagine that because not every single business all next to each other is making the same amount of noise, there's that kind of balance where you might have a very loud, live music venue right here, but then you have a restaurant that's got maybe some music playing inside, but it's not very loud, and then a store, and then a store, and then a store, and then you have another thing. So to me, it never. I don't live in town, but it's never bothersome.
And basically, just so everyone knows, the entertainment district goes from like Swinton to Federal and like 2 blocks in either direction. Yeah. So after 10 p.m., everywhere else has to shut down anyways. Like pretty much, it goes to the quiet levels. That's the only area your thriving downtown's allowed to thrive. After 10, which again plays into maybe expanding this entertainment district to a certain point. And I know everyone's scared of it because the prior owners, just put up big speakers and blasted, but that can be managed a lot better than it was. Exactly. So sensitive to both sides, but I think there's a way. We'll work with the city. The city will work with all the businesses. We'll get to it. Work with the city. So that's what I got. I think everything else is good. I don't have anything else on my plate. Thank you, everyone. Got it done. It is 2:30. Pretty
Amazing.
good. Running them.
Half
getting them
hour
in and
early.
out. All right.